maybe. No,
You'd probably get rich pretty fast.
Yeah.
Or dead.
I'm not gonna do that. Pulling Twitch, that would backfire and get everyone
Assuming
killed.
Braun can actually use the comms.
Probably can use the comms, but not directly very well.
So, you guys entered the Sentron system, and to recap very, very briefly, you discover that the system, which is normally pretty full of ships, is really full of ships and really full of debris. And it is an absolute chaos. There are transmissions and signals going everywhere, and there are ships moving all about the system. Normally, there are several hundred ships in this system to begin with. That number seems to have doubled. And there's probably close to like 400 or 500 ships in here, maybe more. It's really hard to tell because it's hard to distinguish between what is a ship and what is a small space station in some cases, and what is a small space station and what is debris from a small space station. If you recall, most of Sentron, I mean, like, it wasn't like blocked out, but like most of Sentron had orbital facilities ringed around it, and it wasn't in any sort of organized fashion. After the gate collapse centuries ago, the stations just sort of sprouted up around the remaining pre-tech like starship facilities here, and they grew and grew over the centuries to become like hubs of trade and business, and several 100 million people lived in total over the space stations. The world you see now is definitely significantly changed from what was there. You see that the vast majority of ships are all clustered around one hemisphere of the planet, and this is the same hemisphere where most of the remaining orbitals are. The other side, which is somewhat over Sentron City, the one kind of small continent, is almost utterly devoid of actual signals that are not intermediate. All of the orbitals there have been utterly destroyed, and there's just fires raging in space as space stations burn and fall into orbit. It looks like there's still stations over there, but very few, and the damage is just mind-boggling. It's catastrophic, and it's not like the damage is just limited to this area, but it is most heavily concentrated in this one particular area that's on the complete opposite side of the planet that almost all of the ships are on.
But it's like we fought a space battle damage, not we fired the Death Star damage.
Yeah, like, you can't really actually see the surface too well, so you don't, I mean, like, orbital bombardment is technically a thing in galactic history, but it's not a very common thing, especially in Sector 14, where, like, you generally don't have ships that are big enough to carry out sizable orbital bombardment, and you don't really have a whole lot of reason to. Sentron is covered almost entirely by clouds, like white, grayish, swirling clouds. And what parts of Sentron that you can see beneath the clouds are whitish, grayish seas. You can see the poles are heavily frozen over, and it looks like an absolute mess down there. Temperature readings have dropped drastically. Like, you're not like so close to orbit that you're getting like detailed scans, but there definitely seems to be some sort of drastic cataclysmic event going on the planet. So,
well, this day seems to have gone to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think Pharixis is just like utterly silent in the cockpit, and even Kiros is just like you can actually see his jaws slack, and he's just kind of like staring at the monitors.
Well, I guess we have a job to do. Then we'll get on to Sentron.
Yeah,
You got
so
his name wrong again. I think.
Kiros just like looks back over his shoulder, and he just says like, "Great abyss, what could have happened here? I heard the storms were bad, but that doesn't even explain the orbitals."
It looks like an ice age, but perhaps the scientific officer would like to explain that.
Oh,
Is Ray just passed out?
the brain is
Ray
going,
is in boot up
working well enough to explain
I'll
why an
explain
ice
as
age
Ray,
works
then,
right now.
Shall I? Well, it looks like an ice age, but that's kind of a rare destabilization from the impact of a comet. Either way,
So
it looks like Sentron's had quite a run of bad luck. The comet besides.
On top of that, it looks like your pirate friends decided to make, or I guess not your pirate friends, but some pirates decided to raid the system and take advantage of it.
Yeah, so you say that, and you look at the sensors, and there's so much chaos that it's hard to really pinpoint what all is going on. There's like I think I described before. There's like even right now you can see what probably happened several hours ago currently going on the other end of the system, because you can only see it like kind of as light travels to you. That there was like a small cluster of ships fleeing the system, and they're being chased by like a group of larger, like obviously combat oriented ships. There's like small bits of this going on almost all over the system, and there seems to have been like some battle over by Sentron 2 of all places, which is not really an inhabited planet, but you can see that there's like a cluster of ships over there, and there's still kind of like hanging out over there for some reason. But the vast majority of ships are all kind of arrayed around the most intact orbitals, and yeah, I guess do you do a like a search for where you're supposed to drop this off? All you know is you're supposed to deliver this to the captain of the Dark Horizon, by the name of Captain Corvus.
Okay, I thought we had a name. Yeah.
I think didn't we detect the Dark Horizon at the very end of the session? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. So the Dark Horizon is currently like if you're searching through the system list, it's actually like it's broadcasting its IFF.
It was docked, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's currently docked at an orbital above the planet.
I think
It's
Braun's
like
gonna,
right in the midst of this basically fleet of ships.
Braun's totally gonna let out a long whistle as he looks out the window and say, "This place has really gone downhill," and kind of seem nonchalant about it as he's watching the various fights break out around the place and chasing actions.
Been here before, Braun?
Quite a bit. And he's just gonna kind of look around, and there were more of these stations last time I was here, though. Kind of point over to the fiery explosion that
It does appear
one
that
of the pods
a
falling
battle
into the
was
planet.
fought, though the planet doesn't really seem worth fighting over anymore, other than what's on it, I assume.
Looks like a bunch of refugees to me. Probably fighting it out over table scraps. Let's just get the job done. He's
It
going
does
to turn
occur to me
around.
there's quite a bit of money on Sentron.
Only money you need to worry about is the money we get for dropping off the package.
I don't care
By
about
the
that
Dark
money
Horizon.
on Sentron, but I think they might. Why they're here.
Braun shrugs and says, "Not my concern, so it's not your concern. Let's just find the Dark Horizon, get
I'm just
get
more
this
concerned
underway."
about carrying a box full of honey into a nest of hornets.
You let me worry about that. I'm just gonna kind of pat his sword for a second and motion over to Twitch
Honestly,
and
bro,
Kuros.
I don't think your sword will help much if that ship decides to shoot us.
He's gonna just kind of look at Ray and be like, I don't think the ship's gonna decide to shoot us there. If it does, you're right. Not much gonna help us. No sense worrying about
Suppose
it.
we should hail them or something. We don't have any, like, codes to give them or anything, though, do we? We didn't get anything like that.
No codes. You do, I mean, technically have somebody on board your ship who is who works for the person who is asking you to deliver this.
That is true.
I think Braun, you were just told to make sure that this got to Captain Corvus, and that that was actually probably it. Like, you do what needed to be done to get it to him, and
Have I ever dealt with this particular ship before?
not, you know of it, but you've never been aboard. The Dark Horizon is part of the Dark Star fleet, which you know is like the Dark Star organization are the people who basically run Port Atraxis, and Dark Horizon is not the biggest ship in the fleet, but it's kind of considered like the most fearsome nonetheless. And you know that the guy on there, Captain Corvus, is if he's not like the leader of Dark Star, he is very, very important.
Yeah, I think Ronzo's gonna, I guess, pat Twitch roughly on the shoulder and say, well, hail him then.
Let's get this over with.
So yeah, Kiros looks over at like Braun, and then he looks over at Twitch and Ray, like he's just kind of waiting.
I guess you can go ahead and hail them, Ray, and we'll go
Oh,
ahead and head
God.
on. But you're the one on comms.
I know.
All
So
right,
I
so
go
Ray,
over to
you
the comms.
bring up the IFF tag for the Dark Horizon and and press a message request.
I guess I'll just punch up like request opening comms to the IFF for that ship.
Okay, all right. I need to check one thing real quick. We haven't even had to deal with Xeno allergies yet.
Yep, I don't think it was ever brought up before. Of course, we've only been on technically one planet.
Technically on two.
Well, I'm not sure Port Traxxas counts as a planet. Well, yeah, I guess it's true, yeah. You haven't.
Counting,
You've
Akron
been on
has only been
lots,
on one
but-
planet.
I'm sure lots of us have been on lots, really, but in
So
game time,
all right.
we've only been on.
So you put in a hail, and it takes about like 45 seconds to get there. You're still on approach. I guess maybe not even that much. It's probably like a 15-second delay, and like there's like a received response. It's like an automated, just an automated beep, basically in binary that lets you know that the message has been received. There's like several seconds of a pause, and then there's a a counter hail, opening a channel.
What's the captain's name again? I'm gonna mark it down.
Orvis.
Yeah,
Corvus.
Captain Corvus. So Ray, you open the channel.
Yeah.
Right, so you open the channel, and like you can hear kind of in the background, like the sound of a thrum in computers and people walking about. Like it's all very white noisy, like it's not very loud, and you can basically you just get the feeling that you're contacting somebody on the bridge, and you hear a woman's voice, and she responds. How exactly is your ship currently registered? Let me look.
Irani Drifter, I think.
Well, I
something.
think you guys tried to do that.
But everybody knows it as Nasara.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So yeah. Grani Drifter, what is the reason for your hail?
I think Ron's gonna lean over the seat
Yeah,
and
you
start
go ahead.
speaking up really loud and directly that we have a package for Captain Corvus. I believe he's expecting it. It's from a mutual friend of ours.
There's definitely a distinct pause, and then the voice comes back. A mutual friend. Who is this package that he should be expecting from?
That's between me, our friend, and Captain Corvus. Small package, we'll drop it off, but I want to make sure it gets to him. So make sure that somebody comes down that'll.
Ray would totally say it's from what's her face, but I can't remember what her name is right now.
The overrun.
The Overrun.
So you pipe up Neoveren.
Oh, Veron's gonna shoot such a glare at you right now.
There's like
We want
another
to get
pause.
this over with, Braun.
There's another pause, and it says after I think a solid 45 seconds, you hear her respond. Grani Drifter, enter the following course. It will be sent to you. Prepare to receive escort. Do not deviate from your flight path. You will dock at the station and transfer your cargo from there.
You got it. And I'm going to motion pat Kyros on the shoulder now instead of twitch and say that you heard the lady. Get us on our way.
So you immediately receive flight instructions. Not again, they're very simple. It's just basically directing you straight into the fleet of ships, and right up to the dark horizon. It's specifying your speed and approach vector and everything else like that. And you can see as you're approaching ships breaking off from the fleet and burning at a very high velocity towards you.
Well, if they want to shoot us, they won't get a better chance.
Yeah, Kira
Like
just
I said,
looks around. He says, "Okay, well,
like I said, no
wouldn't
sense
make
worrying
any
about it.
sudden moves.
smooth and easy, just like my first date. All right,
How'd
They
your
decide
first
to
date
sink
go,
us.
Kyros?
we'll not talk about that.
Alright, that's
what I
bad.
thought.
I think Brod's gonna say that. Well, they decided to sink us. We'll be done before we know what happened. No sense worrying about things you can't change.
Yeah, I
That
You guys-
is,
You guys hear the the door to the bridge cycle open, and you just I guess you turn and you see the form of Phyrexius leaving the bridge as the door closes.
How long is it in the planet?
What?
A couple hours, right?
I didn't catch your question.
Getting into where the ship is from where we are now.
Yeah, it's going to be actually
Right before we
Um,
disembark, I'm gonna say something as well, just as letting you know in case the time fades.
it's technically going to be 2 days.
No, those ships been
I'm
burning
almost
for us longer than
positive.
we thought.
Yeah. Let's see here. Almost positive though. I had that chart memorized. No, 6 hours. Wait.
Well, Braun, you have to tell them who sent it, otherwise they'll just vape you and not worry about it.
Braun's sighs slightly, and he says, "You don't want to be saying certain names over an open comm system." He's gonna turn to Twitch and
Don't want to get vaporized by a fleet that big
I
either.
don't know, Braun. If I was an important person, someone decided to bring a little box to me, I don't think I'd open it. They tend to blow up.
He's gonna motion. He says, "You think the captain's that stupid? They have security people to check for that. They wouldn't."
Yeah,
have
so it
delivered
is. It is actually going to be 2 days. I'm going to retcon that they don't break off from the fleet. They break off, like the ships that move to intercept break off from ships that were apparently just in system somewhere else that were closer. Like maybe they're actually chasing somebody else out of system.
Braun's gonna motion to Twitch and say, "Maybe the fancy power armor should stay here in case someone tries to take our ship. It looks pretty bad out there." He's gonna kind of motion to Ray and says, "Also, I don't want her screwing anything up." Not sure how
So-
people respond to that.
I think there's just like another look of sort of tension that Kyros throws Ray in Twitch, but he doesn't really say anything.
We will see, Braun, but she's probably coming along.
She pulled a stunt like she did at the DVD kiosk, and I think all of us are gonna find the.
I think you're the only one who pulled a stunt at the DVD kiosk. Would
Think
take all
Braun's
of
gonna
5 minutes.
Braun's
Get
gonna
us
cross
out
his
any faster.
arms. Braun's gonna cross his arms and say that's not the point. The point
No, I
is,
think it is the point, Braun. If you had
I
not
know these
caused any
people.
trouble, we would have been out all the faster.
There's a reason I was sent to watch over you. Make sure things go smooth. She makes things not go smooth, and I'm gonna point back to Ray. If she's gonna come along, you best make sure that she stays quiet. Notably, he's addressing Twitch, not even addressing Ray directly on this. You can very clearly get the impression he's just straight going over Ray's head. Either that or he just doesn't respect Ray enough to talk to her about that at the second.
I didn't choose you to be on this ship, Braun. But if you're going to be on it, you're going to respect everyone that's here. Including Ray.
Respect. Now she's gonna get me killed. Now she's gonna get us all killed. I don't think anybody wants that. I'm gonna kind of, I guess, elbow Kyros. What do you think, Kyros? You think she's gonna get us killed?
I think the chances of all of us getting killed are high for a number of reasons.
Yeah,
That's
but I
nothing
mean,
new.
you spent some time with her. She tends to say things that get people killed, right? I'm just gonna kind of stare at him.
Yeah, he doesn't. He looks very off key. He's looking around and he doesn't know what to say because he doesn't want to upset the big guy, but he also doesn't want to say anything in front of Ray. So he's like, well, it's there are problems and.
We'll see who gets who killed the next time I gotta pack you up, Braun.
Braun says, kind of laughs that off and says, "There won't be any patching us up. We get in trouble on that ship. One wrong word from you is all it's gonna take to make this go very bad."
As far as I know, you know nothing more about the ship than I do.
Yeah, it shows you know. And he's just gonna kind of keep his arms crossed. He hasn't said one way or the other what he knows about
Oh,
the
so enlighten us with your glory, O master.
ship. Ron's gonna kind of look at the sarcasm and kind of point to her and say, "See, this is what I mean. If there's something like that to this guy, her head will be on the wall along with all of ours." And then I'll turn back to Ray and say that this is a powerful leader of this entire fleet. You're looking at it out there. One ship's the least of our problems. We offend anyone, there ain't no getting out of here.
If everything works out well, we won't be here long. I can't. I expect that won't be all we're asked to do. It never are.
Fraud nods and says, "Well, all I'm paid to do is make sure it gets here and that we get back. We can take a little detour for your." He's gonna motion out where Fritz just left. Your friend out there.
As far as I'm concerned,
people.
the mission is done after we drop the package off.
I think that's
Braun
true,
says,
but
Braun says, "I agree. Mission's done when we get back."
There is no necessarily going back.
You left, I believe somebody there, didn't you?
He's gonna take months.
Well,
with months in transition too. Be fair.
I guess it technically is.
Well, no, well, I guess not. Like 3 days each jump, but
we'll talk about
can
that
be
once
weeks.
the package is done. But making a detour for your friends, that's fun.
So, I guess you guys settle in for a long and very uncomfortable ride as you guys are escorted for the next 48 hours towards the towards actually Sentron 5. And yeah, like after only a couple hours, like 5 ships meet up with you. They're all roughly shuttle to fighter size, primarily fighter, and they're all pretty much painted black, and they link up in a very tight formation, like around you. It's definitely not like a parade formation. It's more of like a, if this ship makes any wrong moves, we have optimal angles to blast it formation. And you just get a simple hail. I don't even know if anybody's on the bridge aside from Kiros at the time, that just says, "Garati Drifter, we have you. Do not deviate from your course." And yeah. So like I think it's a very tense ride as you realize that you have guns trained on you the entire way. So
Broad seems relaxed as anything. He's completely taking his own advice and not being worried about things that he couldn't possibly impact.
So what does everybody do during this trip to Sentron? Like, you're in system. Like what's going on?
I'm probably just gonna be hanging out in my luxury apartment with some of my luxury goods for the most of the trip. Coming out
You
and
mean
exercising now
the
and then.
workshop?
The workshop that I picked up? Oh yeah. Probably have a disco ball in there at this point. But yeah. I'm probably just hanging out in my nice luxury bed in my luxury place and coming out and doing my daily workout for the next 2 days. Completely unconcerned about any of this. I'm only
about
concerned
you?
when I can actually impact things.
How about you, Twitch?
well, I don't know what I'd be doing. Everything I want to be doing requires stuff we didn't get a chance to buy, so
I mean, like, is there anything you'd be doing to prepare for what's going on? Anybody you'd be talking to? Anything you'd be trying to research? Anything you'd like be trying to like stow away aboard the ship in case of an emergency?
no, not really. Anything I would talk to.
Twitch
would be
the
about,
ever prepared.
Yeah, well.
How about Ray?
all I could do prepare about it, so.
I'd probably go to Phrixus and start working out the details of like Where does he think his family would go? Stuff like that.
I might have chatted with Frixus at one point about that, for what it's worth.
Yeah, so if you approach Frixus and like ask him like where his family would be,
Bray is not concerned with the dropping off the box at all.
yeah, he's very serious, and he says, I'm not sure where they would go. We've lived on Sentron, in Sentron City our whole lives. Have you seen anything about Sentron? It's terrible down there. There's no news coming in, no news coming out. That they're making sure messenger ships don't get out of the system.
So they might actually try to prevent us from leaving the planet with news.
I think if Braun was overhearing that, he'll probably point to Krios and say, "Look, man, who'd they know that had a ship? Friend of the family, family member, distant relative. Who'd they know that had ships?"
He like Frixus shakes his head and he says, "Water ships. That's about it. My family worked the sea."
I look at the frozen water and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna help you much now.
Not a water boat, star boat. And he's gonna point up. So they gotta know somebody, some favor.
He shakes his head and he just like shrugs. But he's clearly very worried. He says, I don't know where they would go. There's no other place aside from the city.
What about money? You have somebody in your family that had a lot of wealth?
I don't think that matters anymore. Looking at the planet,
he shakes his head again and he says, Uncle Gorax was the one who did the best for himself, but he wasn't very wealthy.
I think he's going to suggest that, well, the ones that have some money, if they've got any money, they see trouble coming like that, first one's off-world. And he kind of motions out there. They probably got a ship out there somewhere right now. We can look after we've taken care of what's necessary.
I'll be the first to bring this up. What are we gonna do about other survivors?
Ron says, "You want your ship stolen? People to screw you over?"
We have relatively limited life support on this ship.
All the more reason. Save this. Save
Where
his
would we
family
take
and-
them? Is a better question.
Yeah, Frixus doesn't really say anything. He looks really, really somber. He's basically looking at his planet after it's gone through Armageddon. So I guess if there's no further plan there, you guys arrive in orbit of Sentron 2 days later. It's been an uneventful trip aside from one moment, roughly I guess 12 hours out. Several ships made a move to like plot an intercept course, but they were still a couple hours out when 3 of your escorts broke off, and no firing, like no actual weaponry was exchanged, but it was very clear that that the other ships were ran off for some reason, and the 3 ships eventually rejoined your escort, and you were moved back to Sentron 5. So once you actually approach orbit of the planet, you can see that although there are a lot of ships here, there's not an actual great amount of traffic. It looks like this fleet that's in orbit here is primarily parked at a lot of these orbitals, and the only ships that are moving are kind of keeping a like a combat patrol around it. There's the occasional ship that's going between stations and then ferrying what you assume to be cargo or passengers between some of the larger ships. But there's pretty much very little activity there, and you see absolutely no orbit to surface activity whatsoever. In terms of in terms of like actual shuttle traffic or anything of that nature.
Isn't anybody like transporting life support or anything like that? Like, how do they put all these ships to scoop? Or I guess they can't scoop life support.
A lot of the stations have like really high reserve tanks, and you know that like they might not be pretty, but they also have oxygen gardens and other ways, like basically life support gardens. Logistics for this like fleet must be an absolute nightmare, but yeah, there's definitely nobody going to or from the planet, and it's do you just kind of leave it at that, or like if you make any look at it at all, you don't know for sure if it's the reason, but like it's not just clouds down there. Like, it's definitely rough air. It would not be like you could travel down through the atmosphere, but regular flights would be a difficult thing. There's storms and yeah, like mega blizzard conditions.
We're gonna need cold weather gear. But
We have no place
I guess
to get it.
spacesuits. I don't. That looks kind of awkward though.
Yeah, they don't get much.
I mean, I'll be
colder
all
than
right in
space.
my armor, but you guys, I can give you some steroids. That might help. I don't know.
Kiro says vac suits work fine on planets. It's just I don't know that I want to be going through snow in a vac suit. I'll be staying aboard the ship if I can help it. We're not actually, like, he looks around. Frixus is not here. He's like, are we actually going down there? I thought we were just dropping off a package.
For now, we're dropping off a package, but we are going to attempt to recover Frixus' family.
On Sentron.
Yeah, there's definitely like a kind of a pause. And Kiros looks conflicted.
Got any family?
He says, no. He just turns back to his control panel. You might want to do anything you want to prepare for. We're pulling in the next 20 minutes. And yeah, you guys enter final approach.
Well, I guess let's go get our gear and get the packages. All right. About all we can do, I think.
The package has torn its way out of the box and is now ripped. Yeah.
I think at some point when we're in the hangar bay getting ready, I'm going to tap one finger right like directly below Ray's like throat and say, if you say one word.
Shut your mouth, Braun.
Braun's gonna just continue. If you say one word that gets us screwed, I will make sure you go to hell with me.
Okay, so like I guess we're having this conversation as you guys have like pulled up and landed into into a bay right next to the Dark Horizon. And like you guys are having this conversation as you're waiting for the doors to open, and like the pressure is equalized and you're there with the cargo. And it's a black cubicle crate that's 4x4x4. And it seems to have like some power monitors on it, like external monitors, but other than that, it's like completely blank. And you have it currently loaded on your grav sled. and I think probably Phyrexius is manning the grab sled, and you're waiting for the doors to open, and outside, like actually through an actual window, you can see the like the form of the dark horizon, like out beyond, and it's this rather imposing like matte black frigate, and yeah, it just looks pretty menacing. You've seen bigger ships in the system, but it's definitely well kept. It looks to be like some sort of maybe system patrol craft at one point. It's pretty modern. It's definitely like built in the last 20 years, and it had to have been taken from like the system defense force of some system out here in the sector. But it's like it's bristling with weapons, but it's more than that. It looks like it's just very well maintained. It's got like the latest tech from what you can see on it. Like it's got like very like well refined armor. Whoever can afford this ship must be very powerful, because you do not tend to get newer tech like this out here in the outer reaches of civilization. So you're waiting for the doors to cycle open. Can everybody describe to me what they're currently looking like, and like what they're doing and what they're armed with?
Well, doesn't sound like much like a business meeting, so I'm probably just wearing my normal outfit with shotgun on my back, I guess. That's about it.
Braun's going to be standing there normally, unwashed and unkempt hair, and wearing his full armor with his sword on his sheath, and yeah, he's going to be kind of moved out in advance, clearly letting the others push the sled so he can meet the people.
Power armor.
Okay. All right. And I guess
probably a SMG too.
yeah, and I think Kiros is even here. He's got his jacket on, and you can see his pistol at his hip. Everybody's like, the full crew is assembled, and they're here. The doors start to cycle open, with a, and they slide apart, and like immediately from the other side, you see an array of black armored figures stride into the bay. I think, man, I always have trouble remembering if Regan is the only one that has seen these guys. I think you guys
Regan
probably
has seen many things in the
or not
afterlife.
Regan, Akron. The guys at the bottom.
They got the nice suits.
The guys at the bottom of this picture here with the blue skulls. You definitely, I think, saw people, at least a couple, on Port Atraxis before the fleet left, walking around with this. You notice that these guys have the same red markings on their shoulders that you guys have seen in a lot of places. It's very clear that this is the Dark Star fleet. These guys are well armed, and they don't rush in, but they definitely come in with weapons like held at the ready, not pointed up, but like shouldered. And I think there's probably like 6 of them, and then behind them there's like several like loading crew techs, and you see like a couple other figures moving in behind them. One of the blue skulled figures, like they walked forward, and you see like this pattern on their visor shifting subtly, and it's very clear that it's a hologram. One of the figures looks about, and like it's very clear that they're basically like securing the room, and looks to you, and over an external comms says, "Which one of you is in charge?"
Braun's gonna step forwards and raise his hand. Not sure if anyone else is gonna raise their hand as well. And he'll say that that would be me.
So he inclines his head towards the cube on the pallet on the hover sled, and he says, "This is the package from Neoveren."
Ron nods and says, "Sorry about that. Was paid to watch after these guys. They have a bad habit with saying too much." He's going to kind of smile, and then he'll motion over to Frixus and kind of give him a gesture to bring the grab sled down.
Okay. So Frixus starts to move the crate forward, and the guy who's been doing the talking kind of like gestures with one hand, and like several of the guys move to kind of like surround the crate, and he looks to the others and he says, "Full scan now," and like three of them kind of post around the crate, and one of them puts his weapon on a sling behind his shoulder and takes out like a black featureless wand from a utility belt, and you see him like attach it via a cord to basically a specialized comm pad, and he begins to do a thorough scan of the container. The whole while, like you can see, I guess there's two more guards like out of the bay that never entered, and behind them there's like two people, and they're in black black jumpsuits. One's a man and one's a woman, both human, and they're just like kind of looking over this procedure. They're probably about like 30 feet away. After after about a minute, one of the guy with the wand kind of looks up and gives an okay signal to the ostensibly the leader of the team, and that guy gestures their loading crew over, and they take possession of the crate and the grav sled. So they begin to slide it out, and the two of the blue skulled guards go with them, and the other four remain, kind of like watching over you guys. And as like after the cargo has left the bay, there's like a pause once the cargo reaches the two suited figures. There's some talking like beyond your earshot, and the cargo technicians are directed to move the cargo like onto the through a docking tube and towards the dark horizon. Does anybody do anything notable while this is all happening?
I believe Bron's just gonna stand there, keeping an eye, very suspicious eye on Ray, waiting for her to offend these people, given how horribly outnumbered we are at every possible level.
You wouldn't mind buying some life support if you got any.
There's like absolutely no response. Like, do you just say this to one of the blue skulled guards?
Yeah, just mention it.
Yeah, there's like the guy doesn't even look at you. I don't think. Like, you can't tell if he's
That's
looking
what
at
I
you
thought.
or not. Like after the cargo has like disappeared through the tube,
Bron might let out a "he talks a lot."
There's
one of them.
there's like a moment where the two suited figures like exchange a brief conversation, and one of them like raises his hand to his ear, and then begins to leave. The leader of the team, there's only four of them here now, like turns to you, Bron, and he says, "The captain would like to speak with you. If you'll come with me."
Of course. He's gonna kind of glance back at the others and motion his hand back and say, "They stay in here?"
He looks to them, and there's like a pause. He says, "You speak for Neilveren? You can vouch for that?"
Ron shakes his head. I wouldn't say I speak for her, but I can deliver a message, and I can verify that's from her.
Very well, as long as they don't cause any trouble.
Ron's gonna turn back to Twitch and say, "You sure we want to?" And he's gonna kind of glance to Ray, and then he's going to just sigh and turn back and say, "Lead on." And see what they do.
All right, so if Braun's the only one, you go with the team leader and one other guy, and
No,
did
Twitch or Ray go? I'm just kind of curious. I was kind of giving him the opening too. I wasn't sure if either of them were going to volunteer or not.
Doesn't sound like it.
Twitch, Ray, you guys out there?
I'm here.
Oh, nobody's volunteering to go see the captain?
I have no intent to see the captain.
I'll go.
Okay.
If nothing else, but that's something I really liked about the situation.
Oh, if you want to stay, it's fine. Braun's going to go by himself.
Staying
That's
is
the only
even worse
person going.
situation.
Yeah, Twitch
So
is gonna
which
stay
are
there
you?
by himself.
Which are you doing?
I'm going along.
Okay. All right. So you head along with Braun and two of the other blue skulls, and two of them remain behind on either side of the the loading bay door, like inside of the hangar. Guns, at the shoulder, just kind of like standing guard. And yeah, you're led to the same docking tube that the cargo was led to, and to the Dark Horizon. And I think like Ray, Kiros turns to you, and like he just lets out like a long sigh, and Pharixis gives you like a concerned look.
This is just supposed to be a drop-off mission. I don't know what they're going to talk about.
All right, so Twitch and Braun, you are escorted by the two blue skulled guards through the boarding tube, and again you see like another two of these guys. Like by now you've noticed that these guys have like basically like gyro jetpacks on the back of their suits. It's very clear that they're like some sort of dedicated Marine force, and it's very likely that they're native to the Dark Horizon. And it, like, just knowing how pirates work, Braun, you can put together that this is probably like, the boarding team. They handle security and not so security, so they're probably like very 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 rough individuals. The guy leads you without saying a word down the boarding tube, and once you actually get to the tube, you see like it's just there's an elevator coming back down, and there's like a couple technicians here, and you take the elevator up. And as you do, you pass like several decks, and you see the occasional person in a like a black jumpsuit. Again, it's not necessarily like a strict military uniform, but it's very very close. After like a minute of riding the elevator, it's very clear that you're now on the ship, and like you're in one of the upper decks, and the elevator like eventually kind of like thrums to a pause, and stops, and the door opens up, and like outside of the elevator, you just see like a bustle of activity. There's like crew going from station to station. There's like a guard posted directly outside of the elevator, and yeah, the two who led you this far step inside and then like step to the side to allow you to walk forward.
Ray doing anything?
Ray's not here.
Ray's on the ship.
Oh, I thought Ray was went with Braun for some reason. I don't know
No.
why. Yeah, I'll go forwards.
All right, so you step forwards, and we'll head back to the Dark Horizon. Very clear that you're on some sort of command deck, and like ahead of you, you can see like what is probably the bridge, like maybe 20 or 30 feet down the corridor. There's like several guards posted here, and there's like a door to your side that the team leader kind of like leads you to, and it cycles open after a moment, and he steps through. I assume you follow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll follow him.
Okay, so he like it leads you into like a smaller corridor, and like at the end of this there are like 3 doors. One of them's small. You have to like it's at the very like end of the corridor. You have to assume it might be like a refresher station. And there's 2 doors that are like across from each other in this hallway. He goes to one and he presses a panel, and it just kind of like lights up green and blinks for several seconds, and he just waits there.
Okay. I think Braun will walk over to that door and see if it opens.
Yeah. So after about like 20 seconds, the door like slides up, and you're admitted into what is definitely like some sort of like ready room. There's a table here. Looks like your typical conference table with some chairs around it, all fastened to the deck, but they swivel out. There's a small holo display in the middle, and then like on the far end of the wall, there's like a augmented 3D screen that basically takes up the far end. And inside, standing with his back to you, is a very tall Vurin, one of the like the semi-insectoid species, bipedal. They have to wear exosuits to be because they require like cold climate conditions. And beside him is a woman in a black like uniform. She's not of a species that you're like necessarily familiar with. She's like currently like she's bald, humanoid, has like a blue skin tinge to her, and she's got like a hexagonal pattern to it. I think maybe Twitch, you've seen a member of her species before, but only once. And she kind of turns in your direction when you approach. She has like no noticeable like nostrils or nose, and her skin sort of like changes pigment very so slowly as you approach. And she turns and kind of almost bows deferentially. It's like it's more of a head bow to the Vurin, and steps aside and just sort of steps out of the way. And yeah, Twitch and Braun, you have like a clear path to this guy who's standing in front of this screen.
Yeah, I think that Braun will take a step forward and say that, how can we help you?
So he turns away from it. Twitch, you definitely notice that this is it's like currently displaying an like a detailed atmospheric scan of what looks to be Sentron 5, and it looks like it's like it maybe even might be including like sonar imagery, trying to like detail geography through the clouds. He turns to you, and the Vurin addresses, like he looks at both of you for a second and turns to address you, Braun, and says, "You are Neovaren's emissary, I take it?"
Though I don't know if emissary would be the right word. And he's gonna kind of pause, making sure that the shipment got here intact That's my job.
She instructed you to deliver this to me. Did she give you any other instructions?
Nope, we have no standing orders past that. I'm gonna kind of look over towards Twitch.
There's like a pause as he studies the both of you. Vern facial expressions are very hard to read, given that they have like kind of a partial exoskeleton, and they also have like compound eyes, so it's definitely hard to read. He's definitely coming across as like very cold and businesslike though, and he says, "You have done your job well. When you return to Neoveren, make sure you let her know this. Ordotraxis is hers per our arrangement."
I'm sure that will please her greatly. And I'm going to kind of give him a bit of a nod and say that I'll make sure that she's aware of this message. And I'll make sure that it is our responsibility to make this happen. I'm going to give a definite look to Twitch.
So again, there's like this long moment of silence, and the guy actually turns to you, Twitch, and he says, "Have we met before? I feel as if I have seen you."
I do not believe so, sir.
Perhaps. Twitch, can you give me a yes, give me a persuasion check. Or I guess the thing is, I guess I can't ask for that if you don't know where he may or may not know you from.
This seems more like a luck check?
Oh, I imagine it's from Holovids, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Twitch has not said anything about putting that together. So,
Well,
yeah,
I'm
just
quite
roll.
sure he has, but unless he's somewhat related to the other guy we had who helped us out there, but I doubt he is. The other variant,
It's
but I don't
give me
think it's true.
like. Are you currently nervous that like you may or may not be recognized here, Twitch?
I think the planet's gone to hell, but here I don't think I would be. As far as I knew, they had nothing to do with Sentron, other than what they may have saw in the news.
All right, so would you? So you don't think Twitch would be particularly nervous?
Well, I'm sure he would be, just not about the current situation. Well, what's more about the current situation than past
Well,
situations?
I'm talking about the current situation. Like, I'm trying to gauge whether or not you are going to need to make a persuasion check to keep your face straight with this guy. Do you feel that you might be having a hard time with that, or what?
I probably would, I guess.
All right,
not a very good situation.
Give me a persuasion check with charisma, and give yourself a +1, since you're pretty certain you've never actually met this guy. Yeah, little does Braun know he's traveling with the most wanted people there are. Yeah, so there's like a pause, but he says, perhaps not. Very well. You have served your employer well, and he kind of like turns and looks dismissively like at you, Braun, and he says, "You may go. You have fulfilled your lady's end of the bargain."
Ron will nod and say it was a pleasure, and then we'll turn to Twitch and I guess wait for him to say his goodbyes, and then head back out.
Does Twitch just leave without saying a word with Braun? Just like, yep, let's time to leave.
I think so.
Okay, so yeah, you just like 180 and leave the room. So the door shuts behind you, and you're in the hallway once again near one of these guards. There's probably like a subtle sigh of relief, maybe on part of both of you, and
I think
you're
as we're walking
escorted
away,
off.
Brun's probably going to be talking to Twitch and saying, "You do have one of those faces. I have everybody. I mean, everybody thinks that they've seen someone looks like you." And he's just going to kind of be chatting along that way as we leave.
Well, there's guards, aren't there?
So Ray, can you describe to me what you would have been doing while you're waiting? Would you just go back aboard the ship, or are you like standing there in the cargo bay staring at these people who are?
I'd still be trying to get some air life support, probably.
Yeah. So like you.
So how would I go about getting some life support on this ship? Random chit chat. But
Yeah, I think one of them turns to you and says, "If you need supplies, put in a request through the Dark Horizon." Ray?
alright, so just let that go then.
So what do you do? Like,
um
I'm trying to get a feel here as to like, you ask something and then I respond and then like you're never heard from again. Like I'm trying to figure out like, do you walk away? Do you go back to the ship?
I walk away and go back to the ship then.
Okay, all right. So yeah, Kiros and Phrixus, I think are like waiting in like the cargo bay, and Kiros is like, these are not good people to deal with. We need to leave like soon. I don't even want to know how you got mixed up with these guys.
Well, this was kind of a do this or we'll kill you type this scenario.
I've been in a couple of those. They haven't involved Darkstar though. Just like he says as he walks down the main corridor, and I guess you guys enter the main ship.
Yep. Our newest crew member I don't really care for either. He's all my mistress this and my lady that.
You're just upset that he's not referring to you as his mistress and my lady. He kind of like
seriously
smirks.
doubt it.
All right,
So make our way back in.
Yeah, you guys get in, and about like, I guess like 10 minutes later, Braun and Twitch show back up. Twitch, you guys enter the cargo bay. There's still the two guards in the like on either side of the door. The cargo ramps down, and like the bay is otherwise empty. You like you and Braun enter the ship, and like maybe breathe a sigh of relief. You've not been killed yet today.
I think as soon as we see the others, I'm going to say, good news! Nova Ren now owns Port Atraxis, and you have a chance to make her happy. So I would recommend that as soon as we pick up Frickus's extended family here, we make our way back and deliver the message that we were given.
Could send the message through, Holonet stuff. You don't have to take it in person.
Braun's going to turn and say, if he wanted it sent by HoloNet, he would have sent it by HoloNet. We have to take this in person. But first, no, I'm
Ray
gonna look over
rolls
to
her
Princess.
eyes.
We
Especially
find
since there's no such thing as HoloNet in this
Well, you
universe.
transferring ships and whatnot, same difference.
Yeah,
I might not know
yeah.
this.
Just remember the whole thing about ships not necessarily going places at the precise
Him
time
giving
you
us
need
the
them.
message, assuming we're going back, is the most direct way for him to get the message there.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it at the very least, it might be like a week or two. You guys taking it. It could be weeks or maybe longer if it's entrusted to somebody else, especially going to some place out of the way as Port Atraxis.
Ron has no idea what friggin' HoloNet is since it doesn't exist. He's probably just going along with it.
Well, what the heck they call the mail service around here?
I think we have
Yeah.
bigger problems, though.
Ron says this is not a problem at all. This is a benefit for everyone. If you would
That's
just
not the
look at it.
problem. Have you seen any ships go down to the planet? I haven't.
Braun motions to the planet and says that's because the planet's a write-off. If his family's alive, they're out there, and he's going to motion towards the mass amounts of ships out there.
I don't think so.
So
Can
there's
anyone
like
even
a
be able to live on that planet right now?
there's like
Oh,
a
it's
yeah there's
colder
like a
than that.
long pause, and then you say that.
He's going to kind of motion to the planet and be like, that looks colder than any winter I have ever seen, with a lot more to deal with. I don't believe there's any life there. Seems that everyone that was there is out there, and he's gonna motion back out to the general window where the stars were. This your first dead planet, boy?
So this is the part where people typically play the role-playing game.
This is the part where the player has no idea where to proceed.
Well, like, player could like theorize and ask questions and say, well, we need to do this, or we might need to do that, or like we could try this, or like I wonder what would happen if we did that, and nobody is doing anything. This seems to be a common occurrence in this game. I've been growing a little bit worried.
Well, if we go down to this, if people see the ship land, they're gonna want to get on it.
Land where? Braun's going to point out.
It doesn't have to be a space station. It doesn't have to be a port. But still.
Braun's just gonna look a little confused and say, "What are you talking about, Ray? We're trying to decide where his family might be, but I'm not sure what you're
There
getting
isn't
at."
much other than the city. Unless you want to be in the middle of an ocean.
Is there life in the city yet?
We don't know.
But there's the city, and then there's ocean. So you don't have many options unless they went to another smaller island. But
Braun's motioning down there and says, "Can anyone live in those cities right now? I don't think there's any life there. It is too cold. They clearly have to be out here in the ocean of stars."
I think there's like a like from up front, and like Kiros is like quickly trying to tamp down like a chuckle.
They could have evacuated people to the orbitals, but these people don't seem the kind to do so, to my opinion. Seem the kind to let the planet die on its own accord and then take up what's left. I would think that they're probably still on the planet, bunkered down in some bunker of sorts. Sure, it has those at least.
But how to locate them, I have no idea. Brixus, did you have any kind of personal comms with your family? I don't even know if such system would still be operating. Probably not, but might
He
be
shakes
worth a
his
try.
head and he says, I've tried to calm down to the surface, but it's just not getting through.
Local systems would probably be non-functional.
General plan, I think, would be to land on the planet, investigate any. I assume you had like an emergency bunker or some sort. There must have some sort of plan for a city as big as Sentron.
They wouldn't be the only ones there.
No,
Kiros
That's
just
where they
like
might-
says,
I think
I
that's
don't
where they would be."
think anybody expected an ice age.
no, but I imagine there's some type of an emergency bunker for a city that big. There are many
have some
planetary
way to tell-
disasters other than ice ages.
Where was your house located, Brixus? I know it's not a huge idea, but perhaps.
He says over by Central District 1. I mean it same rough place where we had the warehouse.
Probably have to just land the ship somewhere a decent distance away if we can. Well, there's no place to land outside the city. You'd have to land in the city. Problematic. Then again, if the area is frozen,
Ron just is shaking his head and says that it seems you wish to go to this frozen planet that clearly has very little chance for survivors on it. Survivors are all around us. We've seen plenty of ships here that seem that they were once docked on Sentron. I'm sure each of them are probably filled with refugees with nowhere to go, and some of those may be Frixus's family.
Finding them among the hundreds of ships. If they're even on the ships. The stations, maybe, but the ships. The Dark Horizon doesn't seem to care about the people, as far as I can tell.
Can you not call them? He's going to just kind of...
we just discussed this.
Call them one at a time. Perhaps we could find some information.
Dial
Braun, if
0000001
If
0000002.
go and contact each ship one at a time, be my guest. There are hundreds of ships out here.
Doubt we would need to waste much time with the wrong number. Hundreds of ships. A few hours.
If they even know who's all on their ships, I doubt they keep inventory.
So, what's the plan? Are you guys going to like start censusing the ships in the system?
My original plan, as I thought about it, was to go down to the planet and rescue the people that are there. But apparently, if there's no one there, I don't even know yet. It's like
Not
I've got no
necessarily no
info.
one there. Well, guessing the extranet is down, right?
Yeah. There's like you can pick up comm channels and stuff, but like it seems to be really, really tightly locked down. Can you give me a computers check?
Ooh boy, computers from Ray.
With intelligence?
I think I have a 0. Yeah.
At least have some computers now.
You don't know precisely what's happening, but it looks like there is a large sequence jamming field that's like basically being projected around the area.
I don't know, Twitch. There's too much jamming. The nets needs to be down, so I can't get information about the planet.
You're definitely still getting communication packets from places, but it seems like they have to have like appropriate codes to get through.
It seems like they're trying to keep a communication blackout of it.
Well, one can expect that. I mean, I doubt they're here on any official business.
Well, I mean, look, I'm the last guy who would suggest this, and like Kiros like spins around in his chair and he says, like, do we know, like, they're not down there? Can we just go? He looks to everybody.
That would be my opinion what we should do. As to where to land the ship,
I mean, I have coordinates for Sentron City. Like, this is a spaceship. You don't have to see to navigate.
I expect Darkstar won't like it, but that's my plan.
Yeah, he grimaces.
I should say, when you say that this is not official activity, they look like the strongest in the system to me, so I think that makes them the officials.
Out here, that may be true. Regardless, I doubt we'll get permission to land on the planet.
Can't you peer into the screen over there and see if there's life on the planet without us having to actually go there?
Although I'm sure there's life, Ron. It's just finding that one infinitesimal flicker of life that you're looking for. That's the problem.
Ron does not look completely sold in the idea there's anyone left alive on this planet.
Yeah,
But
right.
he's willing to
Eskimos,
entertain
Ron?
ideas.
They lived in situations worse than this.
I don't know if the Eskimos lived in situations worse than this, actually, but that was
An ancient
comment.
people that lived long ago on a planet far away.
Nobody has heard the word Eskimo here.
Oh, fine.
We had people that lived in.
Well, we can't
Ice
come up with a better
regions.
plan. I guess we'll just go for it.
They were nothing akin to what is down there.
So, Ray, do you like plot a course down to the planet?
Yeah, I suppose I do.
Okay. So yeah, you tell Kiros like we're going down there, and he grimaces, but he like says, if this wasn't the big guy's home, he turns around, he starts entering in like a pre-flight sequence.
Suit up, Phrixus. We're gonna see if we can find your family.
Yeah, you just put that in over the comms. You don't get like any response. But I think like you hear like shuffling down the corridor.
Indication of exactly like how cold the planet is, like.
Um,
Assuming you're probably gonna need to switch into exosuits, I'm guessing, or will like sufficient furs and bundling be enough to survive for a while?
it's currently somewhere in like the negative 30 region. And like that's in the daytime area. And that's like that's where there's not clouds. So we're talking like South Pole temperatures.
think Braun's going to slap the buggy and maybe punch it on the side a couple times and say, does this thing actually drive?
So I guess like everybody's getting ready, and you're down in the cargo
it
bay.
drives, but it's only 2-person.
I'll take one. There's a heater on board, right?
No.
The one thing Akron forgot to get installed.
There is no
heated
environmental
seats.
controls on that buggy. I'm not even sure the engine would function in that kind of temperature.
Braun's going to look horribly disappointed at that. He had hoped for heat.
Okay, so you get everybody, like, what is your plan here? Like, tell me what you guys are going to do.
Well, we don't have a 4-person vehicle, so
Like, you're going to undock from the station and head down to the planet and just head to Sentron City and land? Is this the gist of the plan?
and then probably try to make our way to where his family was last seen and work from there.
Okay.
And I don't have a better plan, so.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Phrixus is getting like a vac suit on, his 4-armed Carthan vac suit, and like you see him, like he looks grim, and he looks like really severe. I don't think anybody's ever seen him look like this before, except for maybe when Twitch was shot and was like bleeding out on the floor. And he actually, he's got like, let's see here. He's actually got like a pair of laser pistols at his hips, and he's got a pair of laser rifles slung over his shoulders.
That's the most armed prepared I've ever seen him.
Yeah, and he's also got a mag pistol, like, on his thigh. And like he seems to be just like strapping every sort of weapon possible to him, and he's got like an emergency kit like on his back. And you see he's got like the net launcher like on his back as well, and he's like totally loaded up. Well, like only a Carthan could be this loaded. Braun, it's gonna be really cold down there. Do you get into a vac suit?
Well, right now I'm debating with that temperature level if we better get into a vac suit or to get an extensive amount of heavy clothing on. I'm not sure which would fit more appropriately.
You could technically survive, but I don't think you have cold weather gear, is the thing. Like, that's an actual thing, and nobody has ever... Like, you come from a cold planet, right?
Yeah, mostly there's polar regions. In fact, I was just talking about the snow area, but...
You never described it. I don't... And, like, I don't think that you would have come from someplace with one of the polar regions,
it
but,
makes
like...
sense. But I wouldn't have it. I was thinking I might have had some like, furs or something, but that makes sense. Yeah,
I think maybe you have, like,
a
a giant fur cloak of some beast that you probably killed. But that's not going to be enough.
I will switch into a vac seat. Let me copy my armor off. Here.
Yeah, someone's going to have to help Braun into the vac suit, probably.
What AC is a vac suit again? I'll actually mark it down here.
I think it's 7.
Do I get any bonuses on top of that? I'm just trying to put it in
you always remove your dex.
Okay. So that's a 0, so I'm at 7.
Ray, of course, is in her assault suit.
That should be good enough, right? Or is that...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep, and I guess I'll be in a vac suit as well.
All right.
I do have a survival kit. I'll take that.
I'm also going to take a backpack. I'm assuming we have backpacks. If not, I'll figure something out. But,
there's technically a backpack item, but, we're just, not...
If anything, I'll steal Twitch's backpack.
What?
I fill it with food and stuff.
Do you take one of Akron's many ice coolers with you, but
Actually,
use it in
I
reverse
probably
because those
take
are really
some-
good
I-
insulators?
I actually probably take some of his Instaburgers because they're self-heating.
Like you start putting them
Alright.
in your pockets. All right, yeah.
I think that
The day when
Before
we
we-
activate Instaburgers, they use them as hand warmers.
before we
Oh,
leave,
boy.
I'm going to recommend to Kuros that he maybe take his rest in the lower ball turret. In case anybody gets any ideas about getting on board, he could maybe discourage that.
Well, he says that might be a good idea, but we're not there yet, man. Let's deal with one problem at a time. If you guys are all ready, we'll get underway. Ray, I'm going. I guess before that, like
Do I gotta make a nav to get through the storm and whatnot?
you are going to have to do that. But before that happens, I guess, like you guys feel the ship detach from the station, and begin to move off. And you guys are all, checking your weapons. You're getting gear set. Like you're sticking things into the buggy. You're getting that ready to go. Like 15 minutes later, Kiros comes over the comms and he says, everybody, we may have a problem. I am being hailed by Dark Star Command. They want to know why we are approaching the planet.
I think Braun's going to head up to the bridge when he hears that. Not sure what other people are doing.
Well, I doubt the truth will get us anywhere.
Braun will turn to Twitch and say, "You could say we are picking up a stranded associate." They do not need to know the details of the associate of who. Perhaps they will accept this, given our current mission. But you better make sure we return to Fort Detraxis afterwards.
So the Nasara continues to chug along, and he says, "Guys, I'm getting several warnings. There's some activity going on. They're ordering me to stand down."
Braun's gonna punch up the comms and say, "Halt your engines! We're on our way up." And he's definitely making his way to the bridge.
Fine, goes well.
Okay, so you guys are like have already started to descend into like a lower orbit, but you guys feel like a subtle shifting in the inertial dampeners, and you feel like the ship starting to settle out. And you guys quickly make your way up to the bridge. On your display screens, you can see the white planet of Sentron down below you. You see several I guess innumerable green boxes that are indicating a trajectory of entry. And on the corner, there's a sensors grid. And you see that there are a pair of ships moving on an intercept course from the nearest orbital. And as soon as you guys get to the bridge, Kiros turns around and says, "I don't know who you guys pissed off, but they do not want us anywhere near the planet. I am getting warnings that no one is allowed down towards the planet without official authorization."
Well, of course, they're commandeering the system. They're not gonna want us to go to the planet.
And you just waited for this now to tell me.
Braun's turning to Twitch and saying, "Do you want to kill them or should I?"
He says, if they get onto us, we're not going to be able to lose them. Are we going to hail them, or are we going to run? They are closing in right now. We have approximately 60 seconds before we are not able to accelerate out of their velocity.
Very well. I will hail them.
Right, so you open up a channel. Twitch, what do you say?
Dark Star Control, we are on approach to Sentron. We're going to need to pick up an associate of Neova's while we're there before we leave the system.
That's a negative. You do not have clearance to approach Sentron.
And why is that?
Sentron is currently under lockdown. You are not cleared for approach.
What of all the people on Sentron? Will they just left to freeze there?
You are not cleared for approach. Repeat, you are not registering as Dark Star tags.
Braun's coming up behind.
This is
Six
not
and,
an official operation.
He's resting his head on Kuros and telling him to turn, his hand on the back of Kuros and telling him to turn around. And he's going to turn to Twitch and say, "This, you can't win this one, Twitch."
Then fuck Darkstar and we'll go anyway.
Like Kuros is like looking frantically between the two of you, and he says, "What are we doing? What are we doing?"
Braun
We're going to
down
be
there,
here
Land,
in-
heroes.
Braun looks at Kuros and says, "We aren't getting out of the system alive if you make this mistake. Don't
So
make
be it then. Family comes first.
He
They
looks
might not
between-
even be on the planet."
He
Braun's
looks
going to say.
between the three of you, and then he looks to Pharixis like standing in the background, like his visor's already down, and he just turns around. You see like a sudden look of determination on his face, and he says, "Strap in," and he slams the controls forward,
And we
and he
make
like sends
yet
you
another
guys into
enemy.
like a nosedive towards the planet. Like you immediately start getting like alarm warnings on the screen saying unsafe descent path. And you also see like tons of like hailing messages immediately start popping up. And like over the open comms channel, you hear like Grunny Drifter, you are straying from your allowed vector.
I
Turn around
silenced
or
the
be
comms.
destroyed.
Braun's gonna be screaming at Kuros as we punch it and probably gets thrown back a little. They're probably not even on the planet!
All right. Yeah, Kuros like turns in the chair and he says, "Ray, I need you to make emergency calculations to get down to the planet."
Already doing it.
All right, so
They're going to
this
turn
is not
us
going
into a
to be
crater!
this is not going to be a standard check.
If you can plot it toward the old warehouse, this ship might fit in there.
Let's see here. All right, you need to make a nav intelligence check against difficulty 6 plus 1 for each level of course trimming. You are currently attempting to outrun fighters, and also enter a very steep gradient in a essentially a no-fly blizzard zone. This is going to be technically, I guess, difficulty 7 to enter the correct path that you want, and it's going to be difficulty 8 to put yourself on a course to lose the fighters, theoretically.
8.
Ooh, good.
Ooh, good first roll.
You want 2 rolls? Is that what you're saying? Or you want
No,
one
no.
roll at 8?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. I got us a descent path, but it's gonna be rough.
Nothing new there.
Yeah. So
Flip
So-
dampener 6 to auto and 7 to man, etc. etc. But
I'm just shaking
Kuros-
his head.
yeah,
I'm
Kuros,
reading
like,
off what the computer says.
Done.
yeah, Kiros throws it down towards straight towards the planet. Anybody who's not strapped in just gets immediately flung back. And
Watch that roll 20 star.
what the hell? Alright, there we go. Everybody, yeah, like everybody gets like thrown back. I think Braun, you were not strapped in. Can you give me a physical effect save?
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like I need to make a 12. I just roll a d20, right?
Yep. Oh, that's a success. Yeah, so like Braun, you're smacked up against the back of the room, but like you're fine. Like you take the damage. The Nasara just like nosedives straight for the planet, and you feel like afterburners kick in, and you're all pressed into your acceleration scenes, except for Braun, who's like pressed against the wall. And behind you, these two fighters like dive in after you, and like there's like this alarm going off in the cockpit you guys can barely hear. That's like it's a faint alarm that like triggers every 2 seconds. That like there's like a incoming lock. But like it's never achieved, and like you're diving down, and like pretty soon you start to hit like the upper atmosphere, and the ship starts to kind of like bend upward, and it starts rocking and shaking in place. Like the whole ship starts to vibrate and rattle. You are coming in far steeper and far faster than you were like ever supposed to. And Kyros is like, you can't really even see him up front, but he's like, I guess you can probably see like white knuckles on the controls. And like all of you are like looking through the view screens as you're like hurtling down into like these white clouds, and there's like flames licking up like over the cameras, and suddenly like the camera just goes out, and like Kyros presses a button on one of the control panels, and it switches to like an auxiliary view. It's not an actual camera. It looks to be like computer imaging, and like it's showing like a trajectory like going down through the clouds, and the fighters are still in pursuit. It seems like they're trying to keep up, but they're nowhere near is like equipped to deal with the heat as the Nasara is, and they're not able to like shear correctly at the same angle, and they're like being basically skipped off of the atmosphere, and the Nasara like pours down through the atmosphere, and like all of you are just like rattling, and after like approximately like a minute and a half, you break down like through the clouds, and like it's suddenly like it's like the ship is still moving like to the side, but like it's suddenly like you're no longer in a washing machine, and like the ship starts to level out, and like Kyros lets out like this big breath, and he says, "Ho, ho, do not want to do that again." And like he's checking his sensors. He says that I think we lost them, or they blew up. I'm not sure. Not getting good readings up in the clouds. And like all around you, like you're just hearing like wind hitting the hull, and like just like a howling gale everywhere. So like
Well,
you've definitely like
Welcome
gone
back
through the
to Sentron City.
yeah, you've entered the upper atmosphere, like gone through it, and like actually entered the skies now. And the ship is like still being kind of like buckled around by like high winds, but it's survivable. You think? Braun, you may or may not be terrified out of your wits.
Yeah, but probably not just for the crashing, though. I'm honestly probably more terrified of the fact he just pissed off a ginormous space fleet in the system.
Wouldn't be the first time, Braun. He's already got a corporation after him. This is only the second or third corporation we pissed off. Welcome to the crew.
Adding more powerful enemies is not a good strategy.
Some things are more important, Braun.
We could have tried the ships in orbit first. Maybe spoken with someone if we had turned back.
It's a little late for that, Braun. Kiro says. He's like, we're down here. It's going to be rough even getting back up there. He's like, you guys need to take a look at this. I'm gonna have to switch to a secondary camera. It looks like we're gonna have to make some repairs. He's like switches to a secondary view. You guys are no longer like just like pressed down into your seats, although it probably is a good idea that you guys remain strapped in. Like this is like the equivalent of like a very turbulent airplane ride now. And you see like this panoramic view around you of nothing but like stormy seas, just like everywhere, like these like tremendously like blue stormy seas with like white caps just like frothing. You see snow just like pouring out of the sky. There's white, like gigantic white mountains of clouds as far as the eye can see, like in all directions. And like you see like I think probably some ice on the like I guess not necessarily icebergs, but like just chunks of ice floating through the sea. But for the most part, it's not like frozen solid by any means. And he says this place is really fucked up, and he starts to like bank the ship over, and he says we're coming in on Sentron City, and you see like this giant white shape enter your vision. And remember, Sentron City is technically a city the size of like it's like a city on a small continent the size of Australia. Like it's a smaller Australia. The city doesn't like spread throughout the entire place, but it's huge. And this giant landmass comes into shape with like several islands around it, and you see like just waves dashing against these things. And all the land you can see is just covered in white. And in the distance, you see like this sparkling. And it takes you a few seconds to note that like these are like skyscrapers, but they're like frozen. And there's just snow and ice all over the place. And you're still like many miles out, but you can see it from here.
Well,
It always was a glittering city. I didn't think I'd ever see something like this. So, place to land. I vote either the warehouse or the old docking bay for the Dasara. Might even still open.
I think that
We're gonna have to get closer before we can see anything. There's no air traffic control signals.
I wouldn't set us down in plain sight if you can help it.
Neither of which are listed were plain sight.
So, if we're looking on the Sentron map, you guys are roughly about, I guess, hither. And you're making your approach towards Sentron City, and I guess like you're doing some scans of the area, and you're trying to find like the best place to land, and all of a sudden, like warning sirens start going off on the ship, and
what kind of warning?
that kind of warning. Like this just happens immediately out of nowhere, and like Kiros like just turns to the main alarm, and there's like a giant red letters across the screen, like warning collision alarm, like incoming impact, or like incoming vector. And he says, "Holy shit!" And he just like throws the ship to the side and has to make a piloting check.
Oh boy.
Ooh, what a time for him to roll a 1 on something. Okay, still good enough, but very close. The ship like banks just out of the way as something passes straight over the ship, like passes straight through the vector and impacts like the ocean below, and there's like a bright white flash, and like there's like a detonation beneath you.
What the hell was that?
Like he silences the alarm and he says, "Holy shit, we're getting orbital lock." It's like he's like, I'm not sure what's in like his face pales. He's like, "We're being targeted by the orbital defense grid."
Through the planet's
Oh.
atmosphere.
Yeah. So
I
he's
told
like,
you to join me in hell, Ray.
so like, he throws the ship into like a dive, and he's like he's getting it like as close to the waves as possible. And like from up in the sky, there's like this beam of light, and it just shines down, and there's this tremendous pulsing beam that like carves a path through the ocean and just barely misses the Nasara, and like steam just juts up like in front of you, and the Nasara flies straight through it, and like he's barely able to dodge out of the way.
These things
So-
are made to shoot asteroids. Where the heck are you gonna hide this thing
Yeah,
at?
he's like, it's like they're not getting a lock on us, but they're trying, and like the whole time you see like lock, and it's like a continuous lock attempt on the ship, and he's having to like throw the ship into continuous like banks and dives, and he's like, I'm not sure how long I can keep this up. And he's like, what the hell is going on this planet?
It's a very good question. Okay, wait, Ray. Akron had probes on the ship, right?
Yeah, we have probes.
I have a plan! I run off down to
Oh, Jesus.
So like you unstrap and you like run to the door and you smack into the wall, like you right yourself, and then you run down the stairs. You smack into the stairs again. You're getting like an effective -2 for like operating in your vac suit still, but you're able to get down there. It's just you run into every possible obstacle along the way. Where are you going, Twitch?
I want to take one of the sensor probes, and
We have decoy probes.
oh, we do, don't we? Do we?
Yes.
We do. Oh, good. We can launch one of those. They're already programmed to act like the Nasara, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Good. We can launch one of those.
Aren't you glad Akron's foresight still pays off?
I didn't know we bought decoy probes. I thought we only had sensor probes. I was planning to make decoy probes.
Nope. Akron thought ahead. So you run down to engineering, and like you run to the terminal, and you like start trying to like,
Twitch, you
how
need
do I
to
access
load a
probes?
you need to load a decoy probe into rack 3.
All right.
All right, so Twitch, can I get a computers check from you with dexterity?
Yay! +1. That's it. That is all I got.
Okay.
Not good.
So like you enter through the sequence, and like you end up like loading one of the regular sensor probes, and like every time you're getting ready to like finish the sequence, the ship shudders, and like your fingers like dance across the controls. And
I'm gonna burn a bond with Twitch. He can re-roll.
okay, all right, that's awesome.
Dude.
Oh
It's the
god!
same exact thing.
It's the same thing.
That's bull.
Fuck.
Oh man, so Twitch, yeah, you're like Ray, you come over the comms and you're like, what's going on down there, Twitch? And Twitch is like, I can't press these buttons, you have to hold her steady. Yeah, like you keep like you cannot finish the sequence. You're just like you're having an impossible time because the ship is just shaking and you're not strapped in. What do you do, Twitch?
I push the buttons telekinetically? Can I do that? Is that the same difference if I pushed him in my hands?
Yeah, I think like the thing is like you're shaking and the ship is shaking at the same time, so I don't think it's gonna make a difference. It's not magically steadier.
Okay, well, I don't think my reroll is charged, so I can't use that. So I'm basically whatever's happening, that's what I can do.
So you, okay. Alright, so it's just going to take you, like, not 4 or 5 minutes, but, like, a couple of minutes to get this sequence, like, finally loaded. Kyros is gonna have to make another piloting roll.
Can I plot him a more dodgy course?
Yes, but be aware a failure is a failure.
Yep, I'll do it.
Ooh, that's a dodgy course. He's gonna get a +1.
Nice roll.
Oh no!
Hold on.
Oh my
I burn
God!
a bond with Krios too, goddammit.
Do you have a bond with Kyros?
Yes.
Oh shit!
God! This is a bond-burning run. Holy crap!
Oh, it's a really good thing you did that. You were about to get hit by an orbital
You gave me, that
laser.
was actually the first one you gave me. A long time ago.
Right, so there's a moment where like you feed him the coordinates, and he's taking like just a second too long to figure out where you're trying to get him to go, and all of a sudden it says lock achieved, and like his eyes just widen. It says orbital missile detected, and he says, "Oh God," and like you like fortunately he's able to like just jerk the ship to the side just in time as like the streak just comes out of nowhere. It's like a hypervelocity missile, and barely misses the ship. Like the after blast from the thruster of it, like sends the ship kind of tumbling to the side. And like once again, there's like a giant explosion in the ocean beneath you as you're like racing towards the continent. Twitch, over your comms in the engineering bay, a female voice comes over the comms and it says, Twitch, there are an alarming amount of anti-capital ship projectiles being fired at the Nasara from orbit.
I
Oh,
know
shit.
there are, damn it!
Like, you keep like saying it, like you just like keep powering through the sequence for the decoy probes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she says, it seems without intervention that Asara is likely to be destroyed. I am calculating the odds at 78%.
I can't push the buttons any faster.
What are you attempting to do?
I need to launch one of the decoy probes. The darn thing won't activate.
You just hear a chunk chunk, and like you feel a vibration beneath you, and a decoy probe is just launched from beneath the ship. Decoy probe away.
Good job, Twitch.
What? Who are you? No, it's not the time.
I think Braun's going to,
Is Twitch having like an embolism down there or something? Like he's forgotten who Ray is?
No, I know who Ray is, but it's not.
You've talked with Sarah before?
I think Braun's asking if there's any escape pods on the ship right now, on the bridge.
Like, Kyros turns to you and he says,
You want
unless
an
you want to get
escape
in that
pod?
buggy and back out of the landing bay, you shut up right now and strap in.
I was like, you want an escape pod? Go to the airlock and hit the button.
Braun, unironically ask if the buggy can fly.
Shut up, Ron.
It'll fly alright, it's the landing you need to worry about. Alright, I need, I think, let's see here.
Ron is just sitting there watching
Ray,
everybody frantically push buttons.
Ray, you're operating the sensors, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm on that console, yeah.
Can you give me a computer's roll with intelligence +1? Like the decoy pops up on your scanner, and like it drops, and like the signal is an equal measure as the Nasara's, and it seems to be functioning, but like the locks are not deteriorating at all. Like another round comes in towards the ship. Let's go for another piloting roll. Okay, all right, yeah. Kiros manages to keep the ship out of the line of fire for like another round. But like the this time it's like another orbital laser, and it stitches really close. Like I think this time it actually reflects a little bit off the hull, and the ship is like bounced off to the side. Kiros like calls down through the comms like, "Twitch, whatever you did, that was not enough."
Sarah, is that you? Fire another one. Maximal output. I don't know if it'd help at all, but we could try.
Very well. Probe away. Like another probe just like drops out of the hatch at the bottom. Ray, can you give me another computers check with intelligence? This time +2. Okay, yeah.
God,
Like that's not super.
today.
That's not super high, but that may buy you enough. Let's.
You know what?
Make
Fuck it. I'm gonna burn. Reroll. That's the only one I could do. That's
Oh,
10. That's
good.
a little bit better.
All right. Yeah. So
They said to do this in the course, but maybe I can do it this way.
I don't
so
have any
somehow-
more probes.
yeah. So somehow Ray, like you're able to triangulate the decoy between the two decoy probes and the real Nasara, and it's enough to like confuse the sensors. And this laser that's tracking you like suddenly veers off towards one of the probes, and the probe just winks off of your sensors immediately. But it gives you enough time to like
They just
make
vaporized
some,
the probe this time.
yeah, like to make some serious headway away from the targeting. Kiros like turns to you, Ray, and he says, "We need a place to land now. Where are we landing?
Is the warehouse
pick
big
anywhere."
enough? Or not?
Yes, it is barely big enough for the
Put her
Nasara,
down
if you
in the old
remember.
warehouse. In this
Prius
location, I
doesn't
give
know
the
where it
coordinates. Yeah, that's what I said.
Give me a luck check to see if
boy.
you can adequately remember in coordinates where the warehouse may or may not be.
I don't think that's good enough. No, wait, 12. That's
you
not
can,
good
you
enough.
can reroll if you want. I have a bond with you.
Do you want to?
Our bond.
Oh, but
Oh
Jesus,
my
burn
God.
everything! Burn everything!
Wow, this is a bond burning moment.
Yep,
Oh
same thing.
no!
Identical.
All right.
It seems like
Alright,
every
s-
time we roll, it's like basically the same when we re-roll it. It's happened more than
Oh, no, I've rerolled 2 now that worked.
It's happened a bunch of times though.
So yeah, you don't. I mean, like you're like it's on the southern end of the continent, or the southern end of the city, and he's like, "There's a lot of southern end to the city." And he turns and he's like, "Pharixis, where the hell is this place?" And Pharixis attempts to try to talk him through it. But yeah, it's not going to be exact. The second decoy winks out. And I think like there's a very, very tense moment on the bridge as it's like the locks begin to lock on again. Right about now, you're probably about here.
Twitch, kill the transponder!
You're right about here, like you're really, really approaching the Sentron city now, and you're burning so close to the waves that like sometimes you're just getting splash over the hull. And like all of a sudden the locks just stop, and there's like a moment of silence, and like Kiros looks around. He's like, "What did did we lose it? What just happened?"
Silence.
Yeah, there's like blessed
It's
silence.
the lull before the nuclear missile hits.
Brun's kind of looking around and asks, "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?"
Says, "We're not dead yet, Braun. It's probably a good thing." There's like a collective minute probably where you're like waiting for the shoe to drop, and like it
Which
doesn't
comes over the
happen.
comms. Did we land yet?
Switch,
Alright.
go to the mechanical bay and rip every wire out of the transponder.
We can't get to it inside the ship, can we?
Oh, no, it can't.
You technically can. But yeah, Kiro says, "I think, and don't hold me to this, but I think we're clear of whatever the hell that was."
God, I don't know what they put on this planet since I left it last time, but my God, orbital weapons for one ship?
There's a fleet outside if you hadn't noticed.
The fleet,
It's
yes,
them
but
all
not the
off.
orbital defense grid.
All right, so you guys eventually like slow down. Like I think there's like a warning alert on your console, Ray, that says like engines overheating, and like Kiros have like really throttles that back down, and like you approach it like a much more stately velocity. Wind like whipping snow up behind you, and you come over this this rise, and you see like Sentron City swept out before you, and I think anybody who's ever been here before is just like awed. There are still buildings standing, but the tallest ones are definitely damaged. They're like partially frozen, covered in snow and ice. Glass is broken out in like a lot of places, and you can see that a giant chunk of like the northern half of the island slash continent is just like covered in snow. Like there's snow falling over like the southern half too, but it's not nearly as bad. And like you can see snow just like piling in the streets, and you don't even know how deep it is. And Kuros just says, "Holy crap." I don't think we're going to have to worry about a warm welcome down here.
Ha. Ha.
I think that I'm gonna remind him that he might want to take a nap in the ball turret if he's taking any personal time while we're out looking for people. And he takes one look around and says, if they are in the ships above, I don't think we're gonna get a chance to go back."
All right, so the ship like eventually like settles in like over the city at a very slow vector as you guys are like looking for a place to land, and you just see like streets flooded with ice and snow. You do see some activity down there. You see some vehicles moving over the snow, and you see people like looking up at the ship as it like kind of slowly zooms over the city. But like it is like post-apocalyptic down there. This session of Stars Without Numbers is brought to you by Lost Planet. And yeah, you're kind of slowly floating over the city. And let's see here. I knew I saved this for a reason.
I've never played any of the Lost Planet games.
So eventually, Pharixis talks Kyros in the direction of the warehouse, and Pharixis is like, "Oh, it's down on 433, and it's on the docking section, and you guys pass over like a zillion docks that all look like flooded and frozen over. You see, like, I think you can see some ships. A lot of them are like in various states of disuse, but you actually do see like a few ships moving throughout this harbor. Mostly subs. If you recall, there's like a large submersible fishing industry on Sentron. That's kind of how they harvest a lot of the ultra lobster, and those are kind of like the things that are the most common here moving. You see like maybe 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, you eventually like find where the old warehouse was. Like you, yeah.
I think I might comment that where civilization is like this, there are always warlords, and we certainly drew a lot of attention on the way in. We should be quick because a ship off this planet would be a golden ticket.
All right, so you swoop in and you eventually find the warehouse. It's right next to like a large industrial loading dock. It looks partially frozen over, but it's intact. If you recall, it's got forward loading bays for like actual seagoing vessels, and it's got like a large roof access, but that is currently, like, you look and you see like it's open like maybe a foot, and there's like icicles hanging down from like inside.
I try the old code.
It was not a remote access thing when you had it before.
Okay. I guess we should go down and open it.
Yeah, so Kiro says, I could maybe lower it down in the street. Do you want me to just try to drop you off? It looks like those snow drifts might break your fall. I don't think I can
Seems
set
to
her
be the
down
best
here
way to
though.
do
I'm
it.
seeing a few cars down there. I'm not sure we can land exactly just out in the open.
No. Well, just let us next to the roof and we'll get off and see if we can get it open.
All right. So you actually want him to drop you off onto the roof?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So the Nasara comes in, hovering down. Is it Braun, Ray, and Twitch, and Pharixis all loaded up in vac suits and in assault armor, like waiting by the primary access ramp?
Yep. All suited up.
Okay, so everybody's waiting, and this is like the primary passenger ramp. This is not the cargo ramp. Like it starts to open up, and immediately like you're inundated with like a flurry of just like snow and cold air like floating in. You can't feel the cold air through your suits, but like it's just like it's kind of misting over your visors at this point. And there's like a gusting wind like outside that's like immediately apparent through your suit. And Kyros is holding it as steady as he can. It's still wobbling like a foot or two side to side. There's pretty heavy winds, but yeah, it's roughly level with the roof of the warehouse. You guys,
Yes,
what
we
do you
jump.
guys do? All right, yeah, you jump off. Everybody lands like on the roof of the warehouse, and like I think it's definitely pretty slick up here. But, like, yeah, I think even the most clumsy of you land on all fours and you're fine. And after a moment, the ramp, like, cycles up, and the ship kind of like taps gently a little bit over the channel to get away from you, so he doesn't blast you with his thrusters. And you're left on the roof.
I think that
We gotta make our way inside.
I guess we probably have a comm channel in these exosuits. I'm not
Oh,
sure if
yeah.
they've got.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely transmitting through over the horrible wind sound. And saying
Over
why
rays, you might hear exterior temperature -15 degrees.
Oh, it's actually worse than that. It's like it's -45.
Or -45 degrees Fahrenheit. Or is that Celsius?
So-
That Celsius is really bad.
I think I'm gonna transmit. So why do you think they would have come to a frozen warehouse?
Does nobody respond?
This is a place to park the ship. I think, right?
So we're just hiding it here.
Unless you want to get it vaporized by an orbital gum.
Hiding it here is fine. Where are we going?
All right, so it's like Twitch. Are you leading the way across the roof?
Which is semi-AFK getting pork chops. So
I wish I'd known that.
you said BRB in the chat, but yeah, I know about chat. So yeah.
All right, so yeah, you guys head across, and there is a like an access panel next to the roof access port that is like it's definitely not like a primary the primary way, but it looks like it's like in case of emergency or something, and you have to get it open from up above. You can open it from here. So like there's basically like a box sticking up out of the snow on top of the roof, right next to where the shutters are.
I trudge my way slowly over there, and then
Yeah, the snow like crunches beneath your feet. Like I guess like you can kind of look around as you're walking, and the industrial side of the city is like much lower than the rest of the city in terms of like skyline. But you have like a really, really terrifying view of like the open water out like back behind you, and like this whole planet just looks desolate. There are basically nobody in this like sector of town. Like not that you can really see immediately. You get to the box. It's like partially frozen shut. It's got like a panel on top.
got a wrench open.
Yeah. Do you have a tool with you?
Do I have a tool? Probably not.
You have
Not
a
a-
knife
not-
of some sort?
I do have a knife. I don't have like
You need
mechanical
a knife.
tools.
I would have a knife. I thought you might need like an actual tool.
Well, I mean, like, you can always pry a panel open.
All right, so I try to pry the panel with my knife.
Okay. Yeah, it takes a minute or so. It seems like it's actually pretty fragile, given that it's actually been frozen. Most of the work is actually just chipping the ice off. You slide the knife in under there and you smack it down, and the panel like pops open. There's like a small array of switches down beneath it, and you can see that there's like one that that's labeled like shutter control, and then there's like a second one that's labeled I think it's locking mechanism.
I hit the locking mechanism on the shutters of the top roof thing, right? Or they the door?
Yeah, so like you flip it and nothing happens. Like you don't hear anything at all.
No power.
Yeah, you look at the side of the panel and there's like a little bubble light that's like red and it's like listed as like power, and it's definitely not lit. There's like a little primer switch down below it, and it reads backup battery.
What's wrong? I'm gonna ask. I'm looking.
There's not enough
dirt.
power to release the locks. Would a Type A be enough for this, or need
He
Type
just gave you a
B's?
switch for a backup battery you can flip.
Oh, I thought that meant there was no power in backup battery.
No, I mean like yeah, that's exactly what it means. Yeah, there's a power link up for it's clearly meant for like a Type B, but you might be able to rig it to accept the Type A if you make a skill check.
All right.
It might just open once though. Like, you know, who knows how much power is actually going to be required.
I'll attempt that.
Okay. Give me a post-tech roll with intelligence.
That's Yodi +1. But
Oh yeah, that's good enough. So, it's clearly meant to, like, you know, be powered by some sort of larger battery. But you take a Type A out of your pack and you rig it up. They have like a similar link up on one end, and you flip the switch and you like hit the primer switch, and the light winks like really, really faintly on. And like you flip the locking switch and you hear like a ka-chink. And yeah, like you definitely hear like a locking mechanism give in the roof.
I got the lock released, but there ain't no power, so probably have to open the door manually.
Yeah, Pharixis just kind of like trudges through the snow on top of the roof and makes his way towards the door. He sets down his array of guns and like he seems to be like studying it, trying to figure out how he can like maybe manually open it. What should we do?
Braun's gonna look around and say that perhaps we should just move on. We can't get in here. Land outside and push forwards.
Unless you want the ship to be covered in a layer of ice, Braun, we gotta get it inside somewhere.
Blow the door open.
Preferably be able to close the door afterwards.
Pharixis walks up to you, Braun. And he taps you on the shoulder and he points to your sword.
Yeah, you know, I might give that a shot. I'll say, well, seems like your high-tech techniques aren't working so well. And I'll unsheath this and turn on the vibro mode.
No, he shakes his head and he like holds out like two of his right arms. Like his hands open.
The sword.
Oh, he wants my sword?
Yeah, he's like, here.
I'll turn off the vibro mode and I'll hand it to him.
All right, yeah, he takes it. He puts it over his shoulder.
Careful
He
with
walks
that now.
over to the roof access and he jams your sword in between the two shutters, and like you hear like this wrenching metal shriek as he like puts all of his weight against it, and he starts like trying to pry the shutters open.
Not Braun. Rexus, careful.
Let's see here.
One vibro sword.
It's gonna be a strength check.
Oh god, if he breaks my vibro sword, I'm gonna be so unhappy.
14.
Whoa! Holy shit! He's definitely getting the roof open. Let's make another check. Oh yeah, your sword is fine.
Oh, thank god.
You hear a snap though, and for a minute you fear the worst, and like you run up to him, and you're like, and like the snap is just like apparently there was like a metal hinge that had been frozen shut, and like he levers the sword down, the hinge snaps, and like you guys hear like the shriek as the shutters like slide down into place. They slide like maybe 95% of the way open, and then they stop. Snow and ice like drift down inside, and you can see at the bottom there's basically like a frozen like a semi-frozen lake beneath you where the like the dry dock was, and like he turns and he just hands you the sword back.
I'll take it back and I'll be very kind of.
Did our
taking it
warehouse
over.
even have any kind of backup generator? I can't remember if it did or not. I don't think it did it?
It's apparently got a backup battery. Once we get inside, we can recharge it from the ship's reactor.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys can. The ship has power, so you don't have to worry about that. I think like Twitch, that you can probably hook. If you need to power anything in the warehouse, you can probably hook it up to the ship. It's going to slowly drain the ship, but unless you're here for months, that's not going to be a problem. So yeah, like the door's open.
Alright, so we go in.
I hope that's cold enough to actually support the ship. Apparently, the dry dock is now a wet dock / cold dock.
Yeah. So like down at the like I guess down at the bottom, you see like no way to get down through the roof access port. Like you're not really supposed to go through, and you're looking around and you see like a literal grated metal ladder like on the far side of the roof. Does anybody come Kiros and tell him to like pull it down, or do you guys go and check out the warehouse first?
We'd probably want to try and close the dry dock's top.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, wasn't it mentioned before that we had, like, some kind of, like, thing that goes across it?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Because it was mentioned using it as factory space for or something at one point.
Yeah.
Yes, we head on down.
So you guys like radio up to Kiros and let him know what's going on?
Yeah, radio up and be like, we got the roof access open. We're gonna try and
The ladder's on the outside of the building, right?
Yeah.
Well, we probably can't get in from the outside easily. I do have a rope. We can use that.
I look at the rope and the weight of my armor, and I'm like, I'll take the ladder. Use the rope if you want, Twitch.
Phrixus follows you, Ray. Like he doesn't like second look at the roof access port.
Ladder it is then. Why did I ever buy rope?
Use the rope if you want, Twitch.
Twitch gets down first. He just doesn't get back up.
Yeah, I think I'll go on the ladder rather than rope as well.
So Kiro says, you guys be careful down there. Like, it is very hard to see. The ship's relatively stable, but I'm not sure what's going on down there. You be careful. So you guys make your way to the ladder and like climb down. Each run is like frozen solid. Can I get a I'm gonna need a check from everybody because you're in suits and this is frozen.
See if our hands stick to the rungs. What we do?
Probably the opposite.
Or whether we fall off.
Yeah. Like this is like not a spaceship ladder, not meant for vac suits. This will definitely be like I think just a dex check with. Let me read what athletics actually says. I don't know that athletics applies to climbing a ladder.
How heavy is the vac suit, by the way? I
think it's like 2 encumbrance or something, but encumbrance is not a measurement of weight. I'm imagining it's like at least 60 to 80 pounds, probably more.
Well, normally you're clumping around in a ship / in zero gravity with them, so...
I just wondering if I wanted to add add like that to my inventory, so I'm wearing a vac suit instead of a full metal plate. That's all.
Well, if you're wearing it, let's see. Yeah, everybody just make me a check with dex, and if you have athletics, you can add that.
And it's worth noting, anyone who does not have Culture, Spacer, or Exosuit 0 gets a -2 penalty for all movement and skill checks.
Yep. I think that may or may not apply to Braun.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because
Now you're regretting taking Culture Criminal, not Culture Spacer.
I remember that came up about piloting the suits, and I think that we didn't. I didn't realize that at the time. I remember we were talking about that a little. I almost took a point in Exosuit specifically for that. But let me. Maybe I'll have to purchase that at some point.
Do you want Dex modified by Athletics?
Yeah.
And a -1 if we don't have athletics?
Yeah.
Roll dice then.
Vac suits are encumbrance too, by the way, Victor.
I failed.
Number 2, awesome.
God.
Oh no. Alright, so Twitch falls off the ladder.
And so I'm at negative what for this roll?
It's
my base
Dex
is...
plus
Yeah, I'm at base 0, but I'm wondering you're negative what for not having the...
-2.
Ron, you are rolling at...
Yeah, that looks possibly
0,
correct.
0, -2, yeah.
Is that going to account for all my 0 gravity rolls too? Or does that not work for 0 gravity?
That's
just
going
for
to be
the exosuit?
anything taken with an exosuit.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. I know exactly what happens. Alright, so,
Can he get a luck check to fall into a snowbank?
Okay. Yeah, alright. Twitch, give me a luck check.
Well, here's seeing you guys as I die from falling off a roof.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It happens. Is that a
No, I
success?
think.
I don't think so, not for me. Nope, I need 12.
At least it wasn't a crit fail, otherwise you would have hit a car. Okay, so Ray is heading down first, followed by Braun, followed by Phyrexius, followed by Twitch. Because Twitch is sulking maybe a little bit because he wanted to use the rope. Maybe the rope might have been the better option for Twitch. Who knows? But Twitch is up high, and I guess the problem here is that by the time Twitch gets to the rungs of the ladder, everybody's gone to them, and so part of the ice has been, like, sloughed off. And you'd think that would be a good thing, but it's only that it's part of it. And, Twitch slips and falls from the ladder. And as he's falling past Phyrexius' eyes like just go wide, and Phyrexius holds on with 2 arms, and he reaches out and he tries to grab Twitch. He grabs Twitch, but his other 2 arms lose grasp, and he falls off the ladder too. Twitch, can you roll a d8? Okay, yeah, you take 5 damage as you just like smack down there. Yeah, apparently, like you hit a dumpster. Like, if it had been a 1, it would have been a nice fluffy. No. Maybe. Let's see what happens to Phyrexius.
Oh boy.
Okay, yeah. So like Phyrexius lands like right next to him and like maybe smacks up against the wall. And like there's this like moment where Phyrexius and Twitch just like fall right past you guys, and there's like this horrible like wet smack at the bottom of the ladder, and they're both still for like a very long time.
I try to climb down as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you're almost there. Like you're maybe like 6 rungs from the bottom when this happens, and you get down to the bottom.
Bro, you're a shit, fuck, shit. Why does this always happen?
Braun, you get down, and like Phyrexius is like barely getting up. Both of them are just like winded and out of breath, and like ironically have fallen right next to the door.
So I start tending to them. It's like, well, let's get you inside, and I'll see about this again.
Phyrexius stands up, and you just hear like the cracking of multiple spine popping, and like a groan, and he just like looks at the door, and he starts putting in a key code, and like nothing happens, and he looks back. He says, "Doesn't look like there's any power.
I take it. How dark is it in here right now? Is there plenty of light coming from?
It's not dark.
I guess I'll try to jury-rig console again.
All right, give me a.
Yo, they +1.
Oh no, it's
No.
it's a security check, Ray.
That's an untrained something.
Oh, it's a failure.
Uh, Ray, how exactly do you try and fail to?
I was trying to take
get
the console off and like hot wire
Oh,
wires.
Oh, it absolutely just permanently breaks. Like Ray pops the console off, and she's like, "Yeah, I can maybe give this a go," and like accidentally, like her knife slips, as she's like prying this off, and it just slices through all of the cords or all the cables, and like her hand comes away with the entire thing. And this is very apparent to everyone.
Well,
Oh. So is that how you fix it? I think Fran's going to ask as he looks at Ray tear it off the wall.
Take your
that.
sword and cut. Okay.
I want to put it back in, refix it, and then hot fire.
All right, give me a security check with.
I do not
Either
have
Dex-
security. I have a lot of post-tech.
This is security. It's security with Dex or Int.
Roll dice.
I thought there was talk about you getting security, Twitch. Did you never do that?
With the skill
No
point
skill
cost,
points.
it's all cross-class. I don't have enough points to
Yeah.
get that kind of stuff.
Okay, Twitch successfully manages, like, against all odds, to hook up everything. It still looks like it's been utterly mauled. Like, the key code, like, the key facing is hanging off by wires, and all the wires are, like, now attached by bare wires and stuff, but at least it's hooked up. And, like, you twist the last cord together, and, like, the lights come back on. I guess it's not, the lights don't come back on. But I guess you hook a battery to it, and you manage to get the lights to come back on. You can see that yes, it is functioning correctly again.
Fran's going to say, turn out those lights before every ass in this entire frozen city ends up coming here like a
The
beacon.
lights on the panel, Braun.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, the battery for the warehouse is very dead.
Like you guys are currently powering it with like a Type A, I'm assuming. So so Twitch, you've successfully got the panel hooked back up.
Code, please, Frixus.
Yeah. So Phrixus enters in the code. There's like a tense moment, and then you hear, and like the door doesn't open, but it definitely unlocks.
Good.
Give a tug on the door. Is it frozen
Yeah,
shut?
there's like a, and it opens up like 3 inches, and then you have to like tug and pull, but eventually, like after a minute, you get it all the way open, and you you step into the warehouse.
All right. So now we need to close the top doors. Is there like a manual option? Or
Oh
not?
yeah. Remember, there's that control panel or the control room on the second floor.
To close the shutter.
We need to close the dry dock's top, and then once that's done, we can land the ship. Hook its power cord up to the darn warehouse, and use that to close the top door.
That's why I was asking if there's like a crank or something to close those doors.
Probably a pump controller.
Fran's just going to sigh
There's
and
probably
say,
a manual right here next to the thing. I think.
If you look on the document, you have like pump controls 1 and 2.
That's why I was asking if
Yeah,
if
they're
that's what that
electronic.
was.
I want like a manual crank handle.
I assume there's probably one over there.
I head that way and start pumping if it's there.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna take you a long time, like an hour.
I got suit assistance. It's okay. It's,
Well, you
it's
don't-
semi-actuated.
It's actuated to the point where you no longer feel the weight of your suit. It
Aw.
doesn't actually mean you can crush concrete.
You want an athletics roll?
No. I mean, if you want to do it sooner than an hour, you can make that. But
I'll try it. Why not? I can only die. It's okay. Yep, 7. That's not
Yeah,
bad, but
like
it's not good
like
either.
30, 35 minutes. Like, um, you're not going to be able to drain the water out of there, but you can you can like slowly crank the concrete and steel like blast doors. Again, they're not blast doors, but they're essentially blast doors, like out over the dry dock and close it off. It's just going to take you a long time, and maybe you have to like switch off with Pharixis every now and then. But like every turn of the pump gets you like maybe 2 millimeters or something, and so like you're turning this like crazy. Eventually, the dock is like closed
Jesus,
off.
whoever designed this piece of shit.
Glad it
Like,
even
right
has
about-
one now, this day and
like-
age.
Kyros like comes to the comms. Everybody's still alive down there?
Yes,
You can finally land, Kyros. After 40 minutes of closing doors and stuff. Start shoving anything that was in the way out of the way.
well, the door's closed. I don't think there's anything in the way now.
Oh, you know.
Bring her down.
All right, so yeah, Kyros says, all right, I recommend everybody stand well
Clear, yeah.
back.
Indeed.
I will take him up on that advice, and Braun will walk very clear.
I walk over toward the stairs to go up to where our old rooms were.
Man, he makes like a really smooth landing. He like you guys see him like the wedge shape of the Nisara like hovering over the skylight, and then he slowly starts to descend in here, and he's like, I'm not sure there's enough clearance. And then you hear like ice breaking off, and he's like, I'm still not sure there's. Oh, okay, yep, we're good. Like there was like maybe an inch on either side. And like the Nisara drifts down and like settles down, and like sets down the landing gear like sighs, and you hear like the engines start to wind down.
I thought Braun just said back in 60s, can still hear going wireless for just a moment. I'm like, why is he talking about wireless back in the 1960s?
Alright, so
it's back in 60 seconds.
we hook a wire from the Nasara to the actual power system somehow.
Yeah.
Turn all the lights off and then close shit up.
Yeah, so he powers down like primary power on the Nisara, and Kyros like kind of steps.
It shouldn't
down
take
the
a
ramp,
crazy amount of power.
and
to
he's
power
got like
this
his
place.
jacket pulled all the way around him. He's like, "Holy crap, it's cold
Yes.
out here."
It's very cold, Kyros.
Yeah, just bring the generator cord from the starboard side and hook it up wherever you need to hook it up. It'll be fine.
I think you best get back inside.
Yeah.
Alright, so I go and I get the cord and I pull it off to wherever.
Eventually you guys like.
And I
very
disconnect
similar-
the main grid, quote quote,
Yeah. Okay.
so that it doesn't power the whole neighborhood.
So you run it to the power junction, and you get power to the warehouse, and like
Put all the lights
shut
off. Yeah.
you shut the shutters up top.
Yeah.
Like you press the garage door, and like they close. They still don't close like perfectly all the way. There's like a couple centimeters, but
Better than nothing.
yeah, like it basically shuts
Now
out the
we
sound
turn
of
off all the
wind
external
out.
lights and close all the storm shutters.
Yeah, and like once again, you're in the warehouse.
Here we
on
are.
Sentron
I
5.
tend to
Home sweet
Pharixis's and Twitch's injuries.
All right,
from
you can
falling
do
off the
that. I'll
roof.
be right back in a second.
Well, Twitch, here we are.
Yep.
Once again.
Home sweet home.
Looks like a dump. Braun's gonna comment as he glances around the place.
I'm back. Yeah, you're like, are you now up on like the second floor, poking about the offices where like the living quarters are?
Were.
Yeah,
They
I'm
may have
probably
changed
just
it
kind of
out.
glancing about for a bit while they're trying to land.
You find like some really, 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 really old Instaburger wrappers. Like it's really funny because like the last people to live here were actually you guys, and like you guys left in a really big hurry.
Yep. Well,
Sunset is covered in ice.
as I'm like bandaging Frix's back and stuff. I guess it would be like a brace, but you know. So, you said that your family lived near here, Frixus?
He nods and he winces as you like apply like a press to his back or something. He says, with the roads how they are, I'm not sure how long it'll be, but maybe an hour and a half.
You lived here before, right? Ron's gonna motion towards you guys and say, "Do you know
For a short
anybody
period
that,
of time.
you know any sporting goods stores that might have kept the stock of?" He's trying to think of the word.
About a couple
there-
hours into town.
The ice sliders. And he's just kind of like motioning, kind of points to the buggy. Things like that. They go on the snow.
Snowmobiles?
You want skis?
Or skis?
He
You want
kinda
powered
looks,
or not? If it's powered, it's a snowmobile. If not, it's a ski.
Whatever we can take. He's gonna
Uh.
send a little.
A little far away from that side of town, Braun.
Chances are they've already been taken anyways, the way that the city looks.
Yeah, it's probably already been raided. We're probably gonna have to go on foot. The buggy can only seat 2, and I don't even know if that engine will take this kind of cold. I mean, it might for a while, but if it ever shuts off, it ain't starting back up again.
Motions it, looks down at the wheels and says that looks like it would probably sink.
Are we going on foot then?
I suppose.
Seems so.
I mean, we could try to take the buggy, but it might not come back. It's also only 2-seater, as I said. Unless you want to ride on top, big guy. It's not the it's not the way I'd want to go.
We'll find
he
more
shakes his head.
transport.
Whatever happened to that race boat?
It's gone. It's actually probably was. The police probably took it if they found it. But
Probably so.
but
That would be really funny if it was frozen solid at the bottom of the dry dock.
Anyway, so I guess we set
Somewhere,
out on
Braun,
foot.
you see like the smear of blood in here. No, that was the other warehouse. Damn it. That would have been really funny.
Bron's suggesting that we maybe find some transport.
That could be difficult. It was a tropical world. Not a lot of snow stuff around here.
I look at the buggy. You're about like, we bought this here. That's about the best you're gonna find on this world, Braun. This was a tropical, high temperature environment less than a few months ago. Not an ounce ice anywhere on the planet.
There's a grav vehicle somewhere.
That would work. But all right,
If
so I
this is
guess
a grab vehicle, it'd probably be say we should keep our eyes open.
unless
one we can
you
take.
think we can rig a grav sled from the Nasara to ride on.
Wow.
Your grab sled is gone.
Oh, we used it.
It was used to carry the cargo in.
They
took it.
never returned with it.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I didn't
I
need
wonder if
notice.
anyone was gonna say anything about it. It wouldn't have occurred to this guy.
Well, I guess we're going on foot then.
Kiros speaks up and he says, I may regret saying this, but we do have my grab cycle.
Only one person or two. And
He nods and he says, I'm just saying we have it.
It's yours. And it wouldn't help us to get one person there. I don't think.
Yeah,
Besides
'cause
which, you're probably the only one who can fly it.
Besides, I think Phrixus would probably crush it. No offense, big guy, but so we're going all foot.
Joy.
Trudging.
All right,
through the snow.
so am I breaking up for anybody, by the way?
sounded
Not
good.
really.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay. You guys are breaking up pretty heavily for me, but I can still
Alright.
understand you.
I don't know. I don't know why.
All right, so yeah, you guys are just gonna leave on foot. Kiro says, "Well, I'll watch the ship. Make sure you keep on the comm channel. Know if there's going to be interference here or not, but I'll try to keep in contact with you."
Stay on the gun. Keep an eye out.
Your ping is quite high though. That could be why. But you don't have any packet loss. All right.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Ping's around 500 milliseconds, thereabouts, plus minus. But anyway, yeah. So we start trudging through the snow.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, here's cold weather survival rules coming right up.
Slash being attacked by
So you
Big
guys,
Rolls, slash being
I-
attacked by Darkstar Souls, slash.
I give everybody like a stim or something before we go. Try and keep us a little warmer.
And my survival skills / survival kit may actually come in handy for a change. I guess we'll see. Early for it to change. It's my first 2 seconds of having it, but coming to effect earlier than I.
I give everybody like pillets. Like this will increase circulation. It might help out there.
Give me a medical with intelligence, right?
Tech medical. All right. Here's where I either fuck it up or help us. Why did it flicker? Whoa. Why is everything flickering? All right. For some reason, when I touched D20, everything was crazy for a second.
Yeah, actually, you do give them like the correct stimulant, and you remember to like formulate it correctly for the Carthan as well.
I was gonna kind of look at it with a high amount of skepticism.
That or freeze, Braun. Your choice.
Braun just sighs and
Does Braun
I
take the stim?
I guess I'm probably gonna take it and figure to make a comment about that we'll probably be killed by a missile before anything in this could kill me.
Plan for what you can deal with, Braun. I don't think anybody's gonna be stopping a missile anytime soon.
Ray, can you give me a D10 roll plus your tech medical intelligence skill? Okay. So it will last roughly 3 hours. During those 3 hours, you will have like a benefit towards like resisting the cold.
Yay.
So you guys like leave through the door and wrench it shut behind you. It like slams with a sudden gust of wind. And outside you see nothing but like snow-covered streets.
Give me 1 second.
I always thought Sentron would have gone to hell after when we left. I didn't expect it to be a frozen hun.
Yeah. Places that, I mean, there's lots of places they could have gone. I mean, if they're not here, they could be. They might have. A zoo is a possible option. Had climate controls for the various animals.
Well, look at the bright side. At least you don't have to worry about glacier beasts.
The zoo, I think, had some.
He killed them.
They might
Ray,
have had
like,
more.
pauses.
There were quite a few creatures on that menagerie list, which some of them were cold weather hunters.
No,
Yeah.
At least
Does everybody like double check their loadout as they walk into the street?
Turns out the one remaining dark beast thing is attracted to the Nasara's functioning power core. Alright.
Okay, so who wants to try to navigate the streets?
That'd be me.
Give me a
I've never
nav
been here
roll
before,
with
so I'll throw that
intelligence.
Twitch try.
But now?
Ah! Oof, oh, shit. What? 2 6, not 1d10. Fuck.
Pity. That was a
2d6.
good roll.
What was d10?
Yep. Typical. So.
The ones. Always the ones today.
No, but I'm quite
You've gotten
familiar
a lot
with
of 1+4s.
I know, right?
All right, so you start making your way out into the city, and like this is a very weird experience. I guess like you get like maybe 45 minutes out, and you are like trudging through like knee to waist deep snow in some areas, and then you're walking through like maybe ankle deep snow in others. You occasionally run into like thick patches where you have to like kind of climb around. You see the wreckage of like a lot of cars, public transportation. But aside from that, there's like not a lot of people here. I think you see like some activity in some of the like the windows of some buildings, but like I think it's very scarce, and like at most it's like somebody like moving away from a window or something as you move by. Nobody comes out to see you. Pharixis is like trudging along right next to Ray, and he's like determined. He's got his laser rifles and his pistols and his freaking launcher, and he's just like slogging through it. And he's like constantly swiveling his head about to try to get bearings and like point Ray in the right direction.
Oh, that's so-and-so's diner. It would be down this way.
Yeah.
It was so-and-so's diner.
You definitely see a lot of evidence of looting, and as you get into like the actual like urban part of town, like out of the industrial section, you do actually start to see some activity. There's like a really slow moving grab vehicle, like a 6-seater, moving through one street. It looks like it's been like pockmarked with gunfire, and it just seems to be like kind of cruising through one street, like several streets down. You see some people kind of milling about in an alley near a can of fire, and there's like a shelter over them. And yeah, you like I guess you keep pressing on unless you stop for any reason.
Yep.
You eventually get to the area where Phrixis says his family lives. It's actually kind of similar in a way to Twitch's apartment area, not nearly as like gang ridden and run down, but you know, somewhat similar. And he leads you like with increasingly fervent steps to an apartment building, and like he just like rushes to it, and like he tries the door, and it's like shut. He starts looking around. He bangs on the door, and there's like no activity anywhere in the immediate vicinity.
Are we gonna try to pry another door open? I think Braun's gonna ask. This time he's taking, instead of his sword out, he's taking his telescoping pole out.
Phrixis just kicks the door down.
Oh,
And
that works.
like goes straight through. Like you see him just boot the thing down, and he like goes through. You can hear him like yelling, Harissa, where are you? And he's going through the bottom floor, and he's like, anyone? It's very clear that like nobody has lived here for at least several weeks. No power. It's very cold in here. Windows have frozen over, and like as he returns from like one of the other rooms, like you can see just like this utter look of like exasperation and like desperation on his face, like through his
Look
through
at it
his
this
visor.
way, Fritz, this is better. At least you didn't find her body. So, that's something. Do you know where else they would have gone?
Like he thinks, and he says, maybe Uncle Gorax. He has a lot of places around town. He owns boats. They might have gone to him.
Could they be on a boat? I think that I might pipe up.
I look out at the stormy seas and I'm like, I hope not.
We
Hope
saw
not,
boats in
Bron.
the harbor. They were still floating.
Gorax as we go then.
Well, his office is on the other side of District 1. We're going to have to cross like downtown.
Where is
looks-
that on the map? Out of curiosity.
Okay.
Just put a dot. That'll be good enough.
So you guys are
We're at somewhere near the warehouse.
currently roughly Heatherish? Not that far. Why did it snap that far away? What the? Now it just disappeared. Alright. Things are happening that should not be happening.
You see my dot?
As soon as you put yours down, mine disappeared.
I
What
don't see
the
either.
fuck?
Everybody reload. Try that. Reloading.
Loading as well.
Interesting, after I reload, my dot became a line.
Oh, there's a square now.
Yeah.
It was.
Or was a square there?
I see a square.
Okay, alright, you guys are roughly there. And you're gonna have to like travel all the way over there to get to
Are you pinging the
Uncle
map right now?
Gorax's.
Yeah, right there. He's
Not
talking about
pings,
that one.
dots. You
Okay, I see it.
zoom way in around
The,
Central
the,
Station
the,
1.
the little dots.
I see
Right
it now.
below Landon's garage.
Nice.
Well, guess we'll set out. Grab anything that you want that's sentimental to you, Phrixus. I mean, obviously, we're probably not going to come back again.
Strikes me as the train system runs that way.
I seriously doubt the train system is still running.
Underground? Might be.
Not
It's
by any
not.
organized group.
If it's not, the tunnel's out of the weather. Have you people down there maybe?
I just imagine us going through a tunnel and then a train smacking into us. But
Frixie says, well, the mag rails are elevated, but there is the old commuter rail that they used to use that is underground. Do you think that would be a good idea?
I just imagine this becoming a metro, like life in the metro type thing.
Braun says in these suits, probably not the best idea. We're gonna be standing out as somebody that maybe came
I mean,
from off-world.
it's likely to be populated. They might have went there as well. It's a possibility. I mean, they're probably insulated from the outside, largely, especially if they would happen to seal ends of it.
Well, there's a station not too far from here if you want to go down there. It should run in the same direction. They built them above them. They shared the same power lines. He looks to the rest of the group.
Turn to the rest of them and say, "Will you drag me into this? You're the one that knows the terrain."
Well, you really can't be in the storm for too long. A stim shot's only good for so long.
You take the tunnels then.
Well, the sim shot's only affecting you guys if your suits are exposed. So you guys head
we'll
to
try
the,
tunnels.
All right. Okay. So after a few minutes, Phrixus returns from like the upstairs. I guess you guys are waiting in his living room. You see a picture of like obviously Phrixus. Like this is like a curious time for you to like look around. Like you put your hand to a few pictures and they light up. They still apparently have like some juice left in them, and like you see him like much younger, and like he's like in a gym training. Obviously, like in his fighting days. This looks to be like maybe 10 years ago. Then there's like another picture of him with like a bunch of Carthans, like maybe 8 or 9 of them. Looks to be like some sort of family gathering. There's another picture here with him and this very attractive Tarlin woman, and they're seated together on a couch, and you find actually several pictures of him and her together. He eventually returns from upstairs. If he's taken anything, you can't really tell. He has a backpack, but he looks grim and he says, "Let's go."
Indeed.
The quicker the better. I'm not exactly anxious to return to space after this.
Let's hope not. Alright, so you guys set out of the apartment, and as soon as you leave, Twitch, your mind starts to twitch a little bit. You get like a tingling sensation in the back of your head, and you get like an odd sensation, and you look around, and you get an image of several people wrapped in like all sorts of like clothing and gear and masks and stuff behind trash cans and a dumpster, and they're firing weapons at you. And one of them ends up hitting you and putting you down. And it's like a very, very brief glimpse.
So I guess if we take 3rd Street down to
Guys, I think we were followed getting here. There seemed to be people outside waiting for us.
I haven't seen anyone. I was gonna say, you sure you're
Oh, I
not
just
just
had
getting
a...
paranoid?
Oh, I'm definitely not paranoid. I just watched myself die in a minute from now, so it's not a pretty picture.
You hear like a trash can get knocked over, and like you turn and you look and you see several individuals like coming out of an alley with like weapons raised, and you hear like over like the storm being yelled like, "Who are you? Drop whatever you have!"
I threw a stun grenade.
All right, everybody roll initiative.
Oh boy. What's initiative again?
D8 plus your
D8 plus dex, I think.
dexterity. Wow, the last time Firxis was on the initiative, he had a 4 as well. And it was apparently a Vurin with a gat.
I thought it was another
Burn with
Burn
a
with a
gat.
gat. Thought it was another Burn with a gat.
Oh, that was when we were outside the place. That's the last time we used the
Yeah, Port
initiative.
Atraxis.
In Port Atraxis.
Actually, no, we probably used it before that. It's the last time we used it on this. No, it's not. I guess it is because the last time we had initiative, it was on.
It was
it
1v1 stuff on the spaceship.
It was you fighting the guy with a wrench, so it was just you two, so we didn't use initiative.
That and against the like alien things. I think we used it at some point.
Yeah, but again, it was basically pretty straightforward on the initiative
Thug
order.
1, 2, 3. Is he thugs? Now we gotta figure out how stun grenades work again. Other than it's combat primitive. I'm untrained in, yay!
Ooh, one of them rolled horribly. Two of them rolled, like, I guess one of them rolled average and two of them rolled really well.
Uh-oh.
Dum, dum, dum.
Okay.
Kind of makes sense though, because they yelled at us.
Alright, so,
I paid the cost, by the way.
Ray, you throw... Okay, yeah, good. Ray, you throw your stun grenade. This is gonna go off before initiative. Can you roll your grenade check?
Just 2D. Oh no, it's 1D20.
I believe it is a primitive with AC target is, I believe it's 9. Let me double check. Grenades always attack AC 9. So it will be using primitive and... Ooh, a hit! Alright, let's see here. I've yet to port our supplemental equipment over to the handouts yet. I'm doing that, though. Okay, alright. So, Thug 3 is stunned for 1 round, and Thug 4 is stunned for 3 rounds. Alright, so Ray, you just immediately pull your grenade from your belt, you activate it, there's a and you throw it, and it just detonates. But 2 of the guys dive out of the way. One of the guys starts to, and one guy just stands there dumbfounded and basically hits him square in the chest, knocks him to the ground.
That goes off right in front of his face.
Yeah, he just gets flattened by it. Thug 1 raises a submachine gun and... I'm trying to think who he would shoot. I guess...
Roll 1d3. Or whoever's the... I don't know. Or he thinks it'd be easiest, I guess.
All right, that's Ray. That makes sense.
Actually, it is
boy.
D4 with Rixus, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled a d4.
SMG would do no damage to Ray.
Yep. Is SMG only Tech 3?
Yep.
Basically, anything
All
that's
right.
not a mag weapon or a laser is Tech 3.
Yeah. So, let's see here.
I'll go look it up to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Anything that you would consider modern day is Tech 3.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Alright, so this guy basically just sprays projectiles at you, Ray, and they start, like, flaking off from you, and, like, you're knocked back a couple feet, but, like, you're not knocked off your feet. Like, you kind of stagger back under this hail of bullets. Like, this is actually still somewhat dangerous for everybody involved, because, like, there's ricochets going off because they're bouncing off of Ray. You guys are standing, like, in close proximity.
It's fair to say.
Let's get a... physical effects save from Twitch, Braun, and Phrixus.
Oh. I did not make my physical effects. I have 4.
Okay, Twitch manages to, like, dive out of the way as bullets start, like, I guess not even bullets, like, fragments of bullets. Start peppering Braun and Phrixus.
Doesn't he have to roll to see if he even hits me in the first place first? Where they shatter in various directions?
I guess this is true. What's your AC?
Well, if you want to count, like, for, like, fragmentation purposes, he wouldn't have to die. It would be 8.
Alright.
It's 1 with the armor, but, you know.
Yeah, he's not having to actually penetrate you.
Because he could just flat out miss. Everything.
The benefit for bursting is +2, right?
Plus 3.
I think it is 2.
Yes, it's 2.
Oh, he doubly hits, man. If there was
Oh,
a crit
fuck.
in this system, that would
Wow.
be bad. Yeah,
Well,
so
I tried.
33.
yeah, so Braun and Phrixus are definitely hit.
At his leisure, Phrixus can re-roll a save if he wants to. I have a bond with him.
That's at your leisure, really. Would you have him re-roll it?
Does it look like?
Let's see what damage is dealt here, because it's not going to be full damage, because it is like a ricochet. Submachine gun
damage
is
is
1d8
D8
plus 2. I'm going to say it's going to be like I'm going to roll full damage, and we're going to take half of that rounded down. Five.
So 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth re-rolling it for 2 points.
No, like, yeah, I mean, essentially, this is what it is. Like, it's, they're basically getting peppered by really painful fragments of bullets. It's painful, but, like, it's not really, there's no real chance, even if he had rolled max, that it would have done, like, a tremendous amount of damage. Alright, so yeah, the thug opens fire, like, sprays Ray, and Ray just, like, you know, shrugs it off, and the bullets just, like start fragmenting and hitting everybody else. Thug 2, he's got a combat shotgun, and he is going to just start spraying it at. Braun.
I have a one thing I was gonna do when my turn came up was get my energy buckler at least in their direction. So I'm not sure if that could react already or not. Since I'm stunned, I don't know.
You're on the same distance as him, really, but
This is true. We didn't figure out tie. Tie goes to players, so you guys actually go before 2.
Ron go first if he wants.
Yeah, well, I'm stunned, so I don't know how many.
Oh
seconds
no,
do
you're
I
not.
have?
You're not stunned.
Got peppered with fragments, but you're not stunned, I don't think.
Oh, okay. How much damage
if
did
his
I
save
take? I
was
might
to
have
see
missed
if
You
you
took
took
two
shrapnel.
damage.
I totally missed that. I thought I was. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, fixed. Yeah, I'm gonna kick my energy butler on, and I'm going to get that kind of angled towards the guy, and I'm gonna actually push towards him and attempt to smack him down with my sword, which is now roaring to life with a chainsaw type blade effect going all the way around the blade right now. Definitely have the engine revving on it as I am leaping towards this guy.
Okay, so you're gonna like shield bash him and then like slash him with your sword.
That's kind of the idea. I'm gonna charge him with the energy buckler, and as soon as I get on top of him, then I'm gonna switch over and try
Okay,
and
all
cut
right,
him down.
yeah. Give me an athletics check to like dive through the debris and trash cans in the snow, and we'll see how well you do.
Would that be with Con or Dex?
Dexterity.
It's kind of hilarious. I took low Dex on both my characters and needed Dex so much. Oh my freaking god!
Okay, you're having a tough time getting up there. I'm going to give you a negative to your attack roll. You're still going to be able to do it, but like when you get up there, you're going to be off balance.
Nothing through
These
snow makes
guys
sense.
are in short range, so dude has. AC. Dude has AC 6.
Okay, so I have
Does he
one
have like
attack bonus
punk
in my
hair and
level.
stuff?
Well, it's all wrapped up in a mask and like a
Oh.
parka hood and shit.
He's dude one.
Let me check something before you roll that though,
Okay.
because I'm trying to see if this applies to your weapon. I don't think it does.
I have a million little diamond blade type thing just buzzing around the outside
dude,
of the sword.
yeah, your weapon actually ignores his armor. So default human or like default bipedal is I think it's 9 minus Dex, so his AC is 8. You're gonna be rolling this with strength, your combat primitive, and
It just says they can affect targets wearing advanced armor.
Guy's wearing like the equivalent of like leather jacket.
Oh, okay.
Weapons of tech.
Oh,
3 or
right.
higher ignore
Okay,
this
okay,
armor.
okay. That makes sense.
So roll all that with a -1 for being off balance in the snow.
So +1 from my main attack bonus, +3 from the weapon, and +8 from his AC, then -1
Well,
from
you
the
should
off
have
balance.
your. The way we did your sheet, you should have your entire thing like counted as you normally roll it, so it should be a 3.
Okay, so it automatically is the +3.
Remember how we
counting
did
my
that?
attack
It says
bonus.
class plus strength bonus plus skill bonus. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
all. That's all
Oh,
taken
okay,
into
yeah,
account.
I
Remember?
completely
So you
forgot.
add that
Okay, sounds good.
to
Plus 3
AC,
plus 8
which
minus
is 8.
1.
Yep.
-3.
Perfect.
You're in a vac suit.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
-3 for being in a vac suit. So
Cool.
it's a total -3.
Oh man, if I had realized backseats, well, let me see here. Whoa,
That's
nice.
still a hit. Your damage is going to be pretty extreme. 2d6 plus 1.
Oh god. Oh my god!
Well,
Oh, I guess that was not pretty extreme.
Ouch. I'm looking to see if you might get to add your strength to this. I don't know if that's a thing in this system. If it's not, I might make it a thing, because that seems kind of lame.
Yeah, an advanced bow could have been neat. I thought about taking a ranged weapon like that, but it doesn't quite fit. Might get an Ebola though once
I'm going to let you add your strength to this, to damage. So what is your strength mod? Is it 1?
+1, yeah.
Alright, yeah, so you deal 5 damage total. I'm just gonna make that a thing. Because if you're ballsy enough to do like melee combat, I think you should be able to add your strength to your damage.
That's really cool, man. Appreciate it. Definitely makes it more
so
viable.
getting hit by super high-tech chainsaw is roughly the same as falling off a roof.
Yep. So, you hit this guy and, cut, through his parka, and he screams and he falls back into a snowdrift, and, blood splurts out. You don't see if you finish him off, though, but Braun, you definitely, slice him down.
Is he still holding his gun, or did I see him drop it as he fell?
I think his gun, goes with him into the snowdrift. It's in his hand as he goes down.
Good to know.
Ray.
I returned fire at the other dude. That's a machine gunned us.
Okay. Alright. His AC is going to be 8. Ooh,
Jesus
that's a hit.
Christ.
Oh my god. Slaughter here.
Fighting things of armor of 2 for so long.
Okay, yeah, you're using your ZXR?
That's
Or
a
your
submachine gun.
Okay, alright, yeah, so you fire, a burst at him, and, you see him, disappear down behind the trash cans. You see him, eat a spray of bullets and go down. But again, wind and snow, kind of whip in between. You can't get, an incredibly clear image of what exactly happened.
I start making my way toward them as well.
Yeah, you, Terminator walk through the snow.
Yep.
Thug 2 raises his combat shotgun up from where Braun just sliced him down and tries to desperately shoot at Braun. Braun, I think your AC does not account for your armor against projectile weapons, correct?
With my vac suit on, I don't know how that works.
Vac suit, that's correct.
I'm not wearing my metal plate right now.
So 7
technically
minus...
a shotgun would be within the purview of the metal plate anyway.
So 7 minus your shield is 1, right?
I don't think I actually haven't noted down what that gives me.
I think it's
I think
plus
it's a
1.
minus. I think it's a +1. I'm pretty sure that's what
Well,
it is, but I'll have to check.
It
Lowers
it
your
wouldn't
armor
add.
by 1, yeah. Let me look. Armor. What's it called?
It's a Tech 4 shield.
Shield. Armor types.
Alright, I thought it even had a reference number on this.
Lower
when
the
you were
armor
setting it
class
up,
of
but
user
it's
by
apparently
1
not.
point against basically anything because it's Tech 3, so...
Oh, reference is 35.
Yeah,
It's
armor
35,
class minus
yeah.
1 bonus. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a note of that.
Tech 4 varieties function against projectile weapons of Tech 3 or less. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so your AC is effectively 6.
Yep, I believe that's correct.
So the shield he has will work against Tech 3 weapons, but not Tech 4 weapons.
Yep, that's how it works. Stop a laser, but I can stop a bullet technically.
But
I'm
not
lucky.
but not a mag pistol. That would overload its components.
Yep.
Uh-oh, that's a hit. This could be very bad. It's a good thing you rolled really high on your health. Plus an additional 2 for burst. You take 9 damage.
Oof.
Remember,
Mark that
you
down.
can ignore any one attack during combat. It's just up to you whether or not this is the one you want to ignore.
Yeah, I'm thinking not just yet. I've had worse.
Alright. Alright,
Now
so this
down to
guy,
just
like,
under the hit points of
this
Twist.
guy that you just cut across the chest, apparently it was a little bit too shallow. And, he fell down before you and he raised up his shotgun and he just, like, holds down the trigger and it just starts blasting, like, all over the place, and it just sprays pellets all over you, Braun. And yeah, you get lit up, man. Twitch, your turn.
I want to try to take Thug 3 and 4's weapons. They're stunned, so I should be able to take them pretty easily.
Give me a pair of luck saves. Okay, so you can see one of them. As I described before, they were all sort of behind cover, and then you blasted them with a stun grenade, and they fell down. So you can see one of their weapons.
I will take it away then.
Okay, so you you put your hand out and you whip his laser rifle out of his hands. Like it's not even out of his hands; it's like it's right next to him on the ground. Do you just fling it or do you catch it? Like you already have a weapon, right?
I have a weapon, yeah.
Okay, so what do you do with it? You just like fling it off into the distance?
I would drop it beside me.
Okay, all right. Let's see here. Phyrexius. What does Phyrexius do?
Was the laser rifle belong to the guy who was stunned for 1 turn, or the one that was stunned for 3 turns?
3 turns. I'm doing it down in turn order. Oh no, actually it was the guy who was stunned for 1 turn.
Okay.
Phyrexius. Fuck it, Phyrexius charges. Like that's his thing. He might have like a shit ton of guns on him, but like when shit hits the fan, he just goes in.
I thought it would be cool if he would have just taken like a laser rifle in each set of 2 hands and just started shooting.
It may happen eventually, but not here.
That's what I used
Ron,
to do with my Star Wars character.
I had you roll a Dex athletics check. Was that it?
I think so. Because it was a flat roll for him. Damn.
Ooh, Phyrexius is enraged that this is happening right on his doorstep. He bellows out like a Carthan war cry. You see his forearms like spread as he like runs at the guy who like shot Braun. Wow, he actually got a hit on without his advantage. Okay, so Phyrexius just flies into a rage. Let's see how much damage he does. I think like Braun, like you have to step aside as like this Carthan madman just like runs straight by you, like bellowing in rage, and he rolls. he just he dives onto the guy who just lit Braun up with the shotgun, and he just starts pummeling him with all four. Like, it's almost like Donkey Kong gorilla style, and he just
We hear a neck break.
Oh yeah, you hear like ribs smashing underneath his fists.
Target suffer multiple fractures.
Yeah. Like Thugs 3 and 4 moan and groan on the ground, and we're back to Thug 1. Thug 1 shouts something like, "That one's armored!" and turns and fires at somebody. Oh man, Braun's getting shot again.
How did I think I was the one that was armored? I'm not armored.
No, that
talk
one was
about Ray.
armored, so I took Ray off of the 1d4.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think this is the correct AC. Oh shit, Braun gets shot. Man, Braun is having a horrible day.
Yeah.
7 damage.
Ooh. Marking it down right now.
You have ability. Oh, I guess you could just let it go, but just remember how long it takes HP to come back.
I know, I'm saving it for the killing shots, pretty much, if it gets down to that. I'm getting the crap shot out of me.
I feel obligated to take issue with your logic, Victor, in that these guys can do a lot of damage, but they can't do a lot more than they're doing to you, and letting them whittle you down is not going to prepare you well for the next fight, because remember, you don't have med packs.
It takes
That
days
is
to
true.
recover. That's what I would say.
True.
I'll let you retcon that first one that did more damage, knowing that.
I guess
because
it was once per combat, not like once per day. So
yeah,
you know what? Maybe
if you get in combat
and
10
this
minutes
combat
from now,
might not
and you're
last too much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
you could
go
be
ahead
waiting
and get
forever and never use it. I would tend to say if it's a chunk of your health, use it.
I am going to go ahead and say I'm going to use it because I was thinking of it as still
That
like a once
first
per
one-
hour ability, and I was thinking something really
that
bad
first
could
one,
come along in a
that
second.
first one was 9. I'll let you use it on that one. So just make sure you note that you're down a total of 7 hit points.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man. Yeah, that's a good point. Something I hadn't thought of before, and I will keep in mind. Appreciate it. Soaked it up. Appreciate that.
That first one, Braun has an insight and ninja dodges to the side, right? And misses.
Yeah. Well, I think the shotguns. I think it was partially because the guy got
or he just
sliced.
got cut and he dropped his arm when he fired, or something.
Yeah, it just went off into the air, blew up a trash can or something. So Braun, it's your turn.
Ooh boy. Yeah, I think that. Well, first I should ask, of the people that I can still physically see, who's still fighting? Just to make it so I'm not misunderstanding anything.
There's the guy who just shot you. Let me turn this down a bit.
How close is he and where is he at? What's his position right now?
There's the guy that shot you. Thug 3 will resurrect this turn. Well, come out of his daze this turn.
Thug 1 shot you. Thug 2 is dead.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily know that, so I can't really say that.
Thugs 3 and 4 are on the ground, and they've been apparently stunned by the grenade. That's all you know.
Is he in sword range, or would I have to use a throwing weapon to hit Thug? Thug
he's definitely within sword range. You're gonna have to run over and slice him, but he's definitely this is all happening right outside Frixus's house.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna actually go into just a crazed kind of complete 360-degree spin attack on him, and I'm gonna just attempt to bring the sword clean through one side and out the other if all goes well, while screaming all the while at the top of my lungs and a wild-eyed look in my face.
He wants to pull a Krios. Go.
All right, so we hear the as the sword like raises up. AC is 6. I think. No, it's oh wow. It really occurs to me that I do not like this AC system. AC is 9 minus 1. Yeah, so AC is 8.
Okay, 8 was the last guy too, so that makes sense.
Oh, another hit. Braun like didn't kill that first guy, but you're sweeping him. Give me a damage roll.
2d6 time. 2d6 plus 1, I think. Oh my god, I'm not doing the best.
It's not bad.
Oh, I forgot
plus
to add my strength.
Yeah, so it's a total of 7. That's enough to take this guy down. You like he was already wounded. You can see that like he was bleeding very profusely from where Ray had lit him up with his gun or with her gun, and he's on his knees, and you just go over and like you slice through his arms, just like de-arm him. There's like a moment where he's just screaming and blood spurting out into the snow, and then he falls over. Haven't actually added it to your sheet yet, but keep track that you now have an agility point. Or adrenaline point.
Oh, okay. I'll mark that down. Thank you. Should be some sort of a point for taking a crap load of damage too.
There is. It's just it's
okay.
equal to your hit dice, which is 8, and you took 7.
Nice. Like that.
Thug 1 dead. Ray, your turn. There's a few moaning guys on the ground.
I want to kick the weapon away from the other guy, and then
Mhm.
kind of like train my gun on them.
Okay. All right, so like Ray, you kick the gun away from him. It looks like he had like maybe the only gun that could have done any damage to you. He had a mag pistol, and yeah, you train your weapon over him.
But...
Oh, you pull the laser rifle.
And I
right?
wait for one of them to like come to.
Yeah, he comes to in about like 6 seconds. He starts to get up, and then like he sees the gun like right in front of his face, and he just like puts his hands up.
All right. What do you know about the people that lived in this house?
Nothing. Just looking for food.
While you're doing that, I'm searching the bodies for any cold weather gear or anything that could be useful for us.
They've got like parkas and goggles and masks and stuff. It's going to be less useful than your vac suit, but if your vac suit is damaged, then they would become useful. So I don't know. It would be cumbersome to carry.
Yeah, probably not that stuff then.
I tell him to go, but don't make a move for his weapons or he'll be shot.
Yeah, he looks to you and he looks over to Braun where like the sword is dripping with blood.
Or I can
and
give
again,
you to
like
him.
you can't even really see him. He's basically got ski goggles on and a mask, like a bandana over his face. He looks around. He like scrambles over and he puts his arms underneath the other guy and he like starts dragging him up and they huddle down the alley.
What kind of machine gun did that guy have that's dead there?
Submachine gun. All in total, there was a laser rifle, a submachine gun, combat shotgun, and a mag pistol.
Pick up the combat shotgun. I'm not going to use it. I'm probably just going to throw it on my back, just in case someone needs it at some point.
Yeah,
Not
I
all
think like
weapons I want,
Phyrexius comes up from the now bloody snowdrift, and he looks down, and you see his arms are shaking, and like his gloves are red.
You okay there, Braun? You look like you took a hit.
Yeah, Braun is definitely bleeding. Braun, like, what health are you at?
I am currently, I'm trying to look it up, 15 out of 24.
So actually more healthy than like some members of the party, I think, still. But like, yeah, you've got some like blood coming. It's like the suit is sealed up, but you can see that there was like some blood that managed to leak out of the suit before the suit sealed, and there's like some stain, I guess, where like pellets, or I guess bullets went through.
I will.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I'm gonna take the mag pistol. Just put it out there.
Right.
Do they have any shotgun shells on them? I should probably grab a couple if they did.
Yeah. He doesn't have a whole lot. Basically, he's got like one magazine.
Okay, I marked that down.
And he fired twice. That's 6 shots out of whatever the mag was.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you're not too badly hurt, we should get moving. Sad to see this place has come to this.
Broad just kind of moves his arm around for a second. He slips his sword back in and says, "I've had way worse than this." And then he kind of looks down at the bodies, and they certainly had way worse than me.
So you guys start trudging off through the snow, and Phrixus like silently leads you to the entrance to the old like subway commuter line, and like
Sentron
we're gonna
just pasted across the top.
yeah, like we're gonna end the session with you guys heading down down into the subway, and you see that there's definitely like activity down here. There's people, and I think like at the bottom, you see like armed guards in like armor, although they're not all like the same armor. Like you see somebody in what is like Sentron Security Bureau armor, like SWAT armor, but like the guy next to him, it looks like some sort of like ragtag armor, and they're both like basically just standing outside of the entrance, and like further in you see some fires and some heaters and tents and stuff.
Welcome
like
to the metro.
basically
That's what I
yeah,
said.
pretty much.
I liked
And,
Metros. That was okay.
yeah. So we're gonna end there. Is I guess like you walk up and like one of the guys holds up a hand and he's like, "So who are you guys?" And that's like the end of the session.
Oh God, yeah.
Back on
badly.
Sentron.
Oh God, yeah. I was thinking there's a good chance we were gonna get smacked when we were flying in there. Holy crap!
There was a
It
very good
almost
chance we
happened.
could have all died. And
Snake eyes were rolled at one point.
true.
Damage greater than your maximum amount of health on your ship was going to be rolled.
And Jesus Christ, I was sitting there burning bridges like
Yep,
crazy.
Yeah, well, like you burned all your bonds, but I think we're gonna have maybe some bonds created today.
I got one. I got one still. I got one with Braun yet.
So, Ray, did you endanger yourself to protect another?
Yes.
How so?
I think. I went forward and threw a grenade first and engaged. Also tried to go forward into them, but it didn't kind of get there.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. 300 XP. Is it specifically made to protect others as much as protecting? Like when it includes yourself in the mix, it's a little bit harder, but like it's a middling amount of XP. Let's see here. I want everybody to award themselves a bond with Phrixus.
Oh, nice.
I already have one. Do I get
If
two?
you did not have one already, you cannot have more than one with one person.
Okay, yeah, I've already got one. Sadly.
It says Ferixis.
Yep, you spelled it correctly.
Okay.
You're like the only person to ever have spelled it correctly. Which is really funny considering you, Foster. let's see here. Twitch, psionics draw too much attention. Best to lay low for now.
I use psionics, so no.
Yep. And Braun, getting paid and living another day.
Did not get paid.
Yeah, you lived another day. Steps
And
may
you're
have been
not even
taken
getting you're not even getting paid for this one, technically.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually half surprised Braun didn't take the rifles and stuff to sell.
Yeah, I probably would have taken more stuff, but honestly, I figure I don't want to encumber myself too much.
I'm already encumbered to the max.
Just wait
so-
until he finds out that you guys are the ones that robbed the bank of Sentron.
Yep. Wait till he finds out that we're the most wanted criminals in the universe.
That wouldn't bother him, but the fact that you ended up pissing off this fleet and potentially pissing off a whole lot of people is
That
some
yeah, that's
concern.
definitely going to have some interesting
that's what he's
repercussions when
mostly
you go to
concerned
leave
about.
the planet.
People shooting at him. That's not even scaring him. In the back of his mind, while that's happening, he's thinking about what's going to happen when we get off this planet.
It's gonna be fun. That's all we can say. So I think
Could've
turning off
talked
the
it out.
transponder would go a long way toward that. But anyway, I think the orbital guns would have a harder time then.
Transponder just says what the ship is, not where it is.
Yeah, but it broadcasts, so
Ye-
they could triangulate with it.
You would know that when the ship is on, it emits a power signal.
Well, it'd be
You have-
harder.
In order to actually operate in stealth mode, you have to travel at half speed. It's like an actual mechanic in the game. It goes into detail about how the reactor gives you away. Okay, so everybody mark down 3,000 XP for successfully delivering your package to the pirate warlord. And nobody fucking up by like looking to see what was inside or insulting said warlord or anything like that. I was very surprised. I
Screwed up
thought somebody
immediately.
was going to get everybody killed.
We waited to screw up until immediately after. That was our strategy.
Yep.
How much XP was that? I missed the amount.
3K.
3,000.
3,000. Okay, got it. Awesome.
Unfortunately, did not recover Phrixus's family, but you did head down to Sentron. I'm gonna successfully getting down there. Not exactly going to net you XP, but now that you know what sort of situation is down here, you can kind of get an inkling as to how much XP you may or may not be getting for getting off this place alive with your objective. Ron, you can reward yourself a further 2,000 for accomplishing your personal goal.
Oh wow. That is absolutely
Because
awesome.
technically the job was completed, and technically you were correct. They only screwed it up after the job was completed.
Usually we do that first. Oh, I'm actually up to level. That's sweet.
Nice.
Actually, holy crap, I'm level 3.
Well, I'm willing to bet you're not going to roll higher than your current hit points.
Yeah, what would be the roll for that? I guess it's HP is...
4d8 plus your con, which is 1, so 48
I will
plus
roll
1.
right now. Yeah, I'm probably gonna not roll higher than that. That was an awesome freaking roll.
You might,
Well,
let's
you
see.
could roll
That made me
32.
pissed off.
Yep,
Oh,
lower.
one short.
Not quite.
Oh, so close. So close. You have really good health rolls with Braun.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain. No, I'm just happy with the amount of help that I have. It makes me very happy. The big thing
Yep.
is I now have what is it, 3 unsprint skill points.
Uh-huh.
It takes 3 to bump a skill from 1 to 2, right?
How many did you have before?
1. I
Get
had 1
2
in
a
reserve.
level.
Yeah,
so you
so I have
had
3
no,
now.
it's three.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And to bump from 1 to 2.
Stop
is
trying
3 for
to
a
raid
class
on
skill, right?
Braun's raid.
Just saying.
What?
1 to 2 for in class should be only 2 points, I think, right? No, it is 3. Isn't it? No.
It's 1 point
I'm
for
looking at it
0,
right now.
2 points for
In
1, 3
class,
points for
it's-
2.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Combat primitive 2, yes.
For in-class stuff, plus 1 for others.
And I get to move up to the attack bonus of 3.
Ooh.
That's a big one. It really is.
Let's change your AB right now. So class AB 3 plus primitive 2, so that's 5 plus strength. So you're rolling at a total 6.
Oh wow, yeah. Let me fix this. Put the strength in there. I forgot about that being in there. Oh my god. Yeah,
That's pretty substantial.
that's the big one right there. I've been waiting for this one to get the AB bonus and the +2 in primitive.
Yeah,
Certainly a lot
and
better
the
off.
thing is, your luck save is almost a 50% chance. It's it's at
You would
11.
have succeeded all those luck saves. Well, no, you wouldn't. You rolled 11, didn't you? I rolled a lot of 11s on lucks today.
Your physical effect save is a 50% chance of succeeding. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, this level was a big milestone. I've been definitely really happy to have hit that.
Four is a milestone for a lot of classes. Well, 5.
Yeah,
5
it
in
is.
some classes.
Well, it's hitting the second tier is
Yeah.
huge.
And do I minus the XPO? I'm trying to remember how we did this.
No,
just keep
No, you
adding.
don't. Okay, keep adding. Okay, you're right. Okay. Sorry,
That's
there's
Dungeon
so
World.
many friggin' systems. My mind is
Yeah,
straying out of
yeah.
few
Stars
details
Without Numbers
sometimes.
is a little more complicated than you would maybe than we're used to with Dungeon World.
So, does the warrior get better saves overall, or does it just get its saves in more increments?
It gets its saves in different places. It's not better than everyone's. It's just his luck saves are better and his physical effect saves are better.
This tech save is really good at max level.
Yeah, tech represents him like overcoming like tech damage and shit.
Though I guess not compared to like the expert's tech save 4.
Yeah. Again, like it's each class has like its kind of favored saves.
I'll definitely take this. This is
I wouldn't
and
mind
luck gets
seeing
nuts to 7.
seeing more tech saves come up though, because we really haven't had any tech saves really. Like I think we called
You've made
like
some
once.
tech saves. It's
I don't know
not
when,
really happened too much.
I don't know
One
when
of the-
mental saves are coming up. It used to be mental saves for psionic
your
powers.
psionics and
they were-
stuff.
Yeah, but we changed a lot of that, so I don't know when they come up now. Is it just for the mental psionics now? That's it?
I mean, for resistance, psionics.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never understood why a mental effect save would be like the thing is like the warrior is the best example.
Maybe it's like if
Why
you take
would a
drugs or
warrior have a
something.
hard why would a warrior have a hard time holding on to his weapon when somebody's trying to wrestle out of his hands as opposed to when somebody wrestles it out of his hands with their mind?
I
So
guess
like I view that as a physical effect.
I guess if you were addicted to something and you were trying to resist.
Or maybe if you were exposed to some
Mental
sort of,
effect save is anything that's affecting your mind. It's as simple as that. Like
some sort of other
if you're
plane
ever
of
doing
reality or
combat
something.
with other, if you're ever doing something with another psychic, or there's something that's like affecting your mind, that's going to be something that happens. If you get hit like with a psi blast or something. Trust me, I know that psychics have been few and far between. Largely, it's been by like your own actions. We've been steering clear of things such as that. Eventually, you're going to run into something like that, and you're not going to like it.
Probably not.
It's going to be worse than running into a wizard in Dungeon. I'll tell you that.
I don't doubt it. Especially for a guy
Right.
like me.
So, yeah, I hope you guys had fun. Welcome back to Sentron. Hope you brought your long johns.
Oh yeah, looking forward to the next session and